Family Cultivation. I can improve my magic weapon. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 501, The Heavenly Darkness and Heavy Water. The 8 Wastelands show their power. On the leading spiritual ship Zhenrong, Scene 11. Flying bird magic weapons circling. Huo Xinglai, like a cat whose tail was stepped on, immediately expanded his spiritual sense to detect the flying birds in the sky. The result is self-evident. After discovering the phoenix and the spiritual power fluctuations emitted by the flamingo, Huo Xinglai was immediately shocked. Top grade magic weapon. The flamingo flapped its wings and circled, overlooking the fleet sailing in the sea below. Under the control of Chen Qingyun, it released the scorching sun spirit fire, which turned into 3 lines of fire and fell towards Huo Xinglai. This scorching sun spirit fire that fell from the sky has reached the peak of the purple mansion. Huo Xinglai only has the cultivation base of the middle stage of the purple mansion. He is no match for the flamingo alone. He made a full effort to activate the defense shield on the Zhenrong, covering the entire ship. Zhenrong is only a second-level middle-grade spiritual ship. How can it withstand the attack of the sun spirit fire? When the sun's fire came into contact, the defense island of Zhenrong melted rapidly like ice and snow, and a huge hole was dissolved in an instant. The entire Zhenrong was ignited and wrapped by the flames. Under the high temperature of the blazing flames, even the seawater around the ship evaporated, and bursts of white mist rose, and the seawater was boiling violently. It must be the Chen family. Huo Xinglai knew that he was no match for the flamingo, and guessed that Chen Qingyun and others had already caught up. He flew out of the Zhenrong, and his consciousness swept the surroundings, but he didn't see any traces of Chen Qingyun and Chen Qingyun. This Huo family purple mansion was beaten back by the flamingo in the next dozen moves. Seeing that defeat was inevitable, Huo Xinglai made a prompt decision, braved the sea of fire, swept away half of the family belongings on the ship in one fell swoop, and fled alone. Without Huo Xinglai's command, the remaining more than 1,000 Huo family monks in this fleet became a mess, without any ability to fight back. Most of the monks on the ship were killed by the Luan bird with the demon-killing crossbow. Chen Qingyun asked Chen Qingyun to clear the remnants of the Huo family on the ship, and he spread out his wind spirit wings to chase Huo Xinglai. In less than half an incense stick of time, Huo Xinglai, regardless of the safety of the Huo family, used the purple palace escape light to flee hastily on the sea. He only escaped a few hundred miles before being caught up by Chen Qingyun. Fellow Taoist Chen, the grudge between you and me has not progressed to the point where it cannot be controlled. Huo Xinglong and his men attacked you, and I did not participate in this matter. Why do you have to kill me? You are a magnanimous person. If you let me go today, all the storage bags on my body will belong to you. What do you think? Huo Xinglong was not as fast as Chen Qingyun, and was chased. He was panicked and begged for mercy in a hurry, trying to find a way to survive. Chen Qingyun ignored him. Letting the tiger go back to the mountains is a stupid thing that cannot be done. You cannot take this risk with the whole family and bet that Huo Xinglai will not take revenge on the Chen family in the future. The wind spirit wings behind him shook, and in a blink of an eye, he exerted a more agile speed, further shortening the distance with Huo Xinglai. Fellow Taoist Chen, please show mercy, and don't act impulsively. I am willing to swear an immortal oath, just ask you to spare my life. As Chen Qingyun approached, Huo Xinglai's face was in a state of panic. He quickly thought of a countermeasure to delay time. In the face of life and death, Huo Xinglai no longer cared about his face. Chen Qingyun looked indifferent, and glanced at the storage bag on Huo Xinglong's waist, only to see that the other party had taken off the storage bag and threw it towards him. This is the core of the Huo family, please let me go. The dark brown storage bag flew in the air and fell directly towards Chen Qingyun. Just as he was thinking about whether to capture Huo Xinglai alive so that he could interrogate him for some core information about the Huo family, Chen Qingyun frowned when he saw the storage bag thrown over. He was not a 3-year-old child, so how could he accept the other party's initiative to give him treasures casually? When the storage bag was close to him, only more than 20 meters away, Chen Qingyun had not noticed anything unusual from the storage bag, but suddenly a chill came from the bottom of his heart. Just at this moment, a strong sense of crisis suddenly arose, making Chen Qingyun's hair stand on end, and he realized that a great crisis was sweeping over. What is this crisis? Chen Qingyun's mind was subconsciously confused, and his thoughts turned rapidly. His eyes quickly glanced at the storage bag. It's not a storage bag. There was nothing unusual about the storage bag. When he looked at Huo Zingling again, his eyes suddenly froze, and he immediately understood where the problem was. Huo Zinglai's action at this time seemed to be offering the only storage bag on his body to beg for mercy, but in fact, a blazing light emerged from his hands. When he begged for mercy for the first time and wanted to resolve the grudge, he was already prepared to activate the Taniyu Heavy Water Talisman. When he saw Chen Qingyun's reaction, he had no intention of stopping, so he immediately decided to give it a try, regardless of the pain, and activated the Taniyu Heavy Water Talisman to kill Chen Qingyun. The killing treasure is good, but compared to life, it is naturally not worth mentioning. The talisman was activated, and the seal on it was lifted. The terrifying power sealed in the talisman was like a bursting river, which vented out wantonly, causing Huo Zinglai's face to show excitement. Golden Core Stage Talisman. Having faced the power of the talisman several times, Chen Qingyun's pupils shrank, and he instantly recognized the power of this talisman. Although it was expected that the Huo family must have a collection of talismans. However, this is the first time I have seen such a powerful talisman with an aura fluctuation that exceeds that of the Purple Mansion stage. Generally speaking, the power that a talisman can exert will not exceed the Jiandan stage. This is because of the limitations of various factors such as materials and the ability of the maker. The power of talismans is mostly at the peak of the Zaifu stage. Talismans that have reached the Jiandan stage are absolutely rare, and ordinary Jiandan cultivators cannot make them at all. Chen Qingyun looked solemn and did not dare to be careless. When Huo Zinglai roared and waved the talisman in his hand to hit the surging terrifying power, a black figure immediately flew out of the storage ring and protected Chen Qingyun. Taniyu Heavy Water. This is also a magical technique invented by imitating the black water lineage. A drop of heavy water is enough to penetrate the top-grade magic weapon. Chen Qingyun has never faced a Jiandan cultivator head-on, not even a single strike move comparable to that of a Jiandan cultivator. Facing such a terrifying might for the first time, Chen Qingyun thought that it was like a mantis trying to stop a chariot with his Purple Mansion cultivation to resist it. A large amount of Taniyu Heavy Water surged out of the talisman treasure, turning into a long river that swept across the sky, showing black. This black color was completely black, extremely deep, and could absorb all light. It was particularly abrupt against the backdrop of the blue sea and the void. At this critical moment, Chen Qingyun was not prepared to hold back at all. He communicated with the 8 Desolate Avatar and sacrificed his life magic weapon. A touch of golden light suddenly appeared, like a halo of the Avenue shining in the darkness, filled with supreme power. The heaven-transforming shield was activated, and an arc-shaped light curtain rose up, which was several feet in size, blocking the front of the 8 Desolate Avatar and protecting Chen Qingyun firmly behind him. Chapter 502. Eliminating the roots. The Heavenly Dark Heavy Water Talisman was activated, and in an instant, a large amount of Heavenly Dark Heavy Water swept across the sky, forming a sharp contrast with the blue ocean below. These heavy waters were like black water spreading from the demon abyss, and they hit the defensive light curtain of the transformation shield. This huge impact force burst out with a roar that shook the earth and mountains, and the sky and the earth changed color. The surrounding seawater churned and rolled, and the spiritual energy was rioting. The Heavenly Dark Heavy Water has a very strong penetrating power. One drop can penetrate the best magic weapon. The raw material for drawing this magic weapon is the skin of the 4th level Demon King, and a 4th level talisman maker participated in the production. As the strongest foundation of the Huo family, When this kind of killing talisman appeared in the world, the giant and cultivators all retreated and would not choose to confront it head-on. Under the powerful defense of the transformation shield, this attack of the heavenly dark heavy water was firmly resisted, and it could not advance a single inch. The water flow of the heavenly dark heavy water burst out, turned into raindrops and scattered, and fell into the sea with a splash. This caused the sea to turbulent, and the sea surface quickly turned into a state of overturning rivers and seas, rolling and boiling, surging. The giant and cultivator made a move, and the residual power of one strike was enough to shake the earth and stir up the monstrous waves in the sea. However, facing the real giant and period Bawang clone, and with the blessing of the defensive treasure such as Huashan shield, Huo Xinglai's attack could not do anything to Chen Qingyun. With only this Danyu heavy water talisman, it only has the power of one strike. Although it is powerful, it is undoubtedly a small witch facing a big witch in the face of the life treasure such as Huashan shield. With only 70% to 80% of the peak power, how can it break the Huashan shield? What, giant and cultivator? Seeing that the most proud strike was disintegrated in an instant, Huo Xinglai's expression suddenly changed, and he couldn't help shouting in fear. Danyu heavy water talisman is the biggest killer of the Huo family. In the past few hundred years, it has been regarded as a treasure and reluctant to use it. Once used, it will definitely kill a giant and cultivator, which is worthy of the power of this killing talisman. But Huo Xinglai was blind, and he never thought that this was already the use of the Danyu heavy water talisman. This shocking power was used, but it failed to kill Chen Qingyun, and the other party had a powerful helper. Since the Danyu heavy water talisman only had the power of one strike and could not be used again, it was not the time to look at whether the Bawang clone was a person or something else. Huo Xinglai completely gave up the idea of fighting, and looked at Chen Qingyun as if he saw an ancient demon god. He turned around and fled to the distance, and once again used the purple mansion escape light. The Tangsu sword soared into the sky, turned into a sword light, and slashed Huo Xinglai, vowing to kill the Huo family purple mansion. Huo Xinglai's strength was far inferior to Chen Qingyun after all. After escaping more than 10 miles, he was intercepted and killed by Chen Qingyun in the sea, and his soul was destroyed. Chen Qingyun took away Huo Xinglai's storage bag, burned his body and threw it into the sea, and then reunited with Chen Qingyun. Chen Qingyun had consolidated his purple mansion cultivation and quickly killed all the Huo family monks. The remaining few Huo family monks who surrendered were temporarily kept alive to facilitate the subsequent cleanup. There were more than 9,000 Huo family mortals on this fleet. Chen Qingyun sent a message to Chen Xianming to inform him of the progress here. On Chen Xianming's side, because they used the purple mansion monk's light escape technique, the two of them had already caught up with the Huo family fleet, killed all the monks in the fleet, and obtained some of the Huo family's heritage. Everything went well with the old patriarch. Chen Qingyun took down the spirit stone drive core on the spirit ship, let the fleet stay here temporarily, and told Chen Qingyun to watch it for the time being. In the following time, Chen Qingyun used the Tanya transmission mirror to obtain information from Chen Xianming, and directly launched the 5 elements sky escape to track another fleet. This fleet consists of 16 spiritual ships, led by a peak foundation building cultivator, and there are 6 foundation building cultivators, more than 2,000 chi refining cultivators, and the number of mortals is about 5,000. Such a force can be quickly disintegrated by any purple mansion cultivator. Not to mention Chen Qingyun. 3 5 elements puppets were released and landed on the spiritual ship. With the power of the puppets alone, all the Huo family cultivators were killed. As for the remaining mortals, according to the rules of the cultivation world, cultivators cannot slaughter mortals at will, and Chen Qingyun did not kill them. Generally speaking, after a cultivation family is destroyed, the surviving mortals face 2 endings. One is that the mortals leave the family and find another place to live, such as moving to secular towns, villages, etc., and start their lives from scratch. Because there are many fierce beasts and monsters in the sea, mortals do not have the ability to sail far, and can only settle on the surrounding islands as much as possible. The second situation is that these mortals of the family will be annexed by other families, integrated into their own bloodline, and further expand the family. These mortals of the Huo family have already left the clan where they have lived for hundreds of years, and now have become rootless duckweed, wandering on the sea. Without the assistance of the monks to help fight against the monsters in the sea and find new islands to settle, they will soon starve to death and die of thirst in the vast sea. Although such a large number of mortals is attractive to the Chen family, once all of them are absorbed and integrated into the family, it will definitely allow the family to expand to 1 million people. This is correct, of course. However, since it is a fight between two clans, there are huge grievances and conflicts. For the Huo family, the Chen family is an enemy of extermination. Once these people are absorbed and integrated into the Chen family, it is inevitable that the seeds of revenge will be sown, and the tiger will be raised for trouble. At that time, these Huo family mortals, because of their hatred, will attack the Chen family mortals and do some annoying things, which will not be worth the loss. It is even possible that because the number of the other party is too large, they will turn the tables and turn the Chen family into the Huo family. Regarding the happiness and stability of the family mortals, Chen Qingyun has no intention of annexing these Huo family mortals. Even Chen Xianming and Chen Dalin have the same idea and are not prepared to use the Huo family bloodline to expand the family population. The Chen family does not annex, but it does not mean that other families are not interested. After executing the monks on these spiritual ships, Chen Xianming arranged family members to conduct a careful inspection of the ship. All mortals were checked to see if there were any resources, treasures, etc. missing. This is to prevent other families from picking up some treasures after dividing up these Huo family mortals. While checking, Chen Qingyun, Chen Xianming, and Chen Qingyun went to the Huo family's Huo family castle together. Huo family castle is located on a large spiritual island, which has a third-grade spiritual vein and 2 second-grade spiritual veins. In the past few days, some of the Huo family monks have purchased spiritual ships and immediately evacuated with their clansmen, gradually evacuating another 8 or 9,000 people. Chapter 503 2,000 Magical Instruments. For you, the news that Huo Xinglai was defeated and killed by the Chen family has been passed back to Huo Jiabao, causing panic among the people on the island. More Huo family monks realized that they could not sit and wait for death, and began to choose to escape alone. They set up flying swords and fled far away from Xingluo Islands, ignoring the safety of their clansmen and only wanting to save themselves. Because of the scarcity of monks on the island and the internal strife in the clan, the island protection formation was not activated and became a decoration. The entire Huo Jiabao entered a state of rot. Chen Xianming led a dozen monks to attack Huo Jiabao. Without the protection of the island protection formation, it was easy to uproot the family. The treasures in the resource area such as the spiritual vein, the medicine garden, and the library had long been plundered, and most of them fell into the hands of the Chen family. Chen Xianming brought all the remaining books and classics back to the family and asked the family teachers and county officials in Qing County to copy a few copies and store them in the family library. The spiritual medicine in the spiritual medicine garden had long been picked up. In order to prevent the medicine garden from falling into the hands of the Chen family and to continue to grow spiritual medicines, several senior members of the Huo family did not hesitate to sprinkle the red yin poisonous water, polluting a large area of the medicine garden. This made the soil that originally contained spiritual energy now full of poison. The medicine garden was destroyed by the red yin poisonous water and it was no longer possible to grow spiritual medicines. Fortunately, the 3 spiritual veins of the Huo family castle were well preserved and not blown up. In this family battle, not all members of the Chen family went out. Led by Chen Qingyun, Chen Xianming, Chen Qingyun, and Chen Dalin, the power of the cultivators of the Huo family was quickly disintegrated. A top purple mansion cultivator can achieve unexpected and amazing results in battle. The Huo family had a total of more than 5,000 cultivators. In the subsequent battle that lasted for more than half a month, more than 4,700 people were eliminated. The remaining cultivators were like rats, wandering around the Star Sea, and it was difficult to eliminate them in a short time. The search for the Huo family's mortals and the exploration of the Huo family's castle continued for another month, After all the resources that could be seized were collected, Chen Xianmin announced to the public that he would no longer attack the Huo family's mortals. These mortals will all be divided up by the surrounding major families. A population of more than 1.1 million is a huge number, which can be called a small country. However, with the intervention of more than 30 families such as the Ling family, the Sun family, and the Leaf family, these people were quickly divided up and integrated into their own blood. Chen Xianmin summoned Chen Qingyun, Chen Dailin and other family leaders to conduct statistics on the spiritual islands, resource industries, etc. left by the Huo family, including the Huo family castle. The Huo family has a total of 16 spiritual islands, 13 of which are ordinary islands without spiritual veins. They are used to build family towns and settle the population. The remaining 3 have spiritual veins. The Huo family castle has a 3rd grade top grade spiritual vein, Jinzhou Island has a 3rd grade middle grade spiritual vein, and Luozhou Island has a 2nd grade low grade spiritual vein. You also know the situation of the cultivators in our family. There is no extra manpower to guard these 3 spiritual islands, so I plan to set up formations on the islands to protect them first and keep them as survival territories when the population is expanded in the future. What do you think? The Huo family Huojiabao, Jinzhou Island, and Luozhou Island are all located in the north of Xingluo Islands, and the farthest distance between them is 80,000 miles. If we enter Xingluo Islands in the future, these 3 islands will be a good starting point. After Chen Xianmin finished speaking, Chen Dailin took over and said, "At present, the number of spiritual islands in our family has been saturated, and there is no need to occupy more spiritual islands in a short time. I think the 3 spiritual islands of Huojiabao will be handled according to your wishes, Patriarch. There are too many spiritual islands to manage, and we can't spare so many people for the time being. Don't delay the original resource industry." "I think it's okay." Chen Qingyun also nodded. Chen Qingyun nodded. "Okay." After discussing the handling of the captured territory, several people counted all the spoils seized in Huojiabao during this period. As a Zaifu family with a heritage that exceeds that of the Chen family, even if there are 30% to 40% of the resource heritage, it was taken away by the remnants of the Huo family who fled to various parts of Xinghai. The remaining resources that fell into the hands of the Chen family are still huge in number. There are more than 2.2 million spirit stones, 1,499 medium-grade spirit stones, and 1 high-grade spirit stone. There are more than 3,000 pills and talismans, and more than 5,000 magic tools. In addition, there are between 300 and 500 large and small formations, pill recipes, tool recipes, and beast control books. Chen Dailin roughly looked at some of these pill recipes. There are dozens of them that the Chen family also has in its collection, indicating that they are common goods and are widely circulated. The slightly more precious ones are 12 third-level pill recipes and 1 4th-level pill recipe. This 4th-level pill recipe is called Zhuxiantu pill, which can increase the cultivation of giant and cultivators. Because the main medicine required to refine Zhuxiantu pills requires Zhuxiantu grass, which is not only difficult to refine, but also expensive. Since this pill recipe was obtained by some foundation-building cultivators of the Huo family by chance more than 300 years ago and brought back to the family for exchange, the Huo family has not been able to refine Zhuxiantu pills until now. I can only rely on the experience of the alchemists in the clan to confirm that there is no problem with the recipe, and keep it as a collection. 4th level, Zhuxiantu pill, this is a good thing. It seems that I have to work harder to reach the 4th level alchemy as soon as possible. Chen Dailin is very interested in these recipes, especially this Zhuxiantu pill recipe. Chen Qingyun and Chen Qingyun's eyes fell on those prescriptions. Some of them were remarkable, and they each copied a copy. There were a lot of other miscellaneous things, most of which were of low value. Chen Qingyun took a brief look at them, and then the family sorted them out. Guessing that Chen Qingyun needed to break the magic weapons, there were more than 30 pieces here, and Chen Xianmin gave them all to Chen Qingyun. In addition, everyone sorted out the captured magic weapons, which totaled more than 5,000, and reserved 3,000 magic weapons for everyone to choose from, and then deposited them into the family treasury. Chen Xianming, Chen Dalin and other senior family officials discussed the remaining 2,000 magic weapons, and then their eyes fell on Chen Qingyun. Qingyun, your weapon refining skills are improving day by day. It must be the time when you need a large number of magic weapons. Chen Xianming smiled slightly, organized the 2,000 magical artifacts, and packed them in 15 storage bags. There are 2,000 magic weapons here, ranging from the first level to the second level. The family has reserved so many magic weapons that we won't use them for the time being. Why don't we give them to you so that you can spend less? Lingxi is buying broken magic weapons outside. At the previous clan meeting, everyone had no objections to the increase in clan member salaries, especially the promotion of Chen Qingyun. At this moment, these 2,000 magical artifacts were divided and all were given to Chen Qingyun, which aroused the envy of Chen Qingyun, Chen Qinglai and others. Chapter 504, Immortal Palace Jade Plate reappears. Chen Qingyun is the first in the family to obtain so many magic tools at one time. Although they envy him, Chen Qingyun and the others know very well that if Chen Qingyun had not made a great contribution and killed 5 purple mansion monks of the Huo family, they cannot divide the spoils here now. Without Chen Qingyun's help, Chen Xianming thinks that he has no capital to fight against the Huo family, which has 6 purple mansion monks. Not to mention Chen Qingyun and the others. Chen Qingyun has made most of the contributions, so he can naturally occupy most of the benefits. There is nothing to be jealous of. It is when magic tools are needed and strengthening points need to be accumulated. Chen Qingyun accepted the 2,000 magic tools without hesitation. Thank you very much. These magic tools are really useful to me. On Chen Qingyun's side, the family also gave 100 magic tools as a tool for refining and comprehension, ranging from the first level to the third level. As for the magic weapons, there are a total of 8 looted. Chen Xianming suggested that each of the purple mansion cultivators of the Chen family should select one, and the other 3 should be stored in the clan treasury as a legacy. Ha. I just broke through the purple mansion stage and I just need a magic weapon. The Huo family came to give me a treasure this time, so I will not refuse it. Chen Dalin laughed and took the lead to step forward and select a 3-legged Kylin tripod. This tripod is a top-grade magic weapon. It refines the samadhi true fire. While fighting against the enemy, it can also assist in alchemy and improve the efficiency of alchemy. With this tripod, I have a better grasp of refining the foundation building pill. Now I have the Jade Marrow Golden Branch. We need to speed up the pace and collect the rest of the medicinal materials as soon as possible. The main medicinal material for refining the foundation building pill is currently only the purple monkey flower. The Chen family has already planted the purple monkey flower, but the year is not yet up and it needs to continue to grow. As for some other medicinal materials, it is not difficult to collect them. There's no rush for this. The market in the inner Star Sea is so small. We still have to focus on purchasing medicinal materials near the Yaoang Mountain Sea. The prices there are affordable and there are many varieties. I need you to help me with this matter. Chen Xianming smiled faintly, and then looked at Chen Qingyun. Qingyun, I know you have a lot of magic weapons on you, and there are some better ones than this one. See if you can find any that you like. Choose one. Don't be disgusted. Chen Qingyun chose from the 7 magic weapons and picked up a kettle-shaped magic weapon. This treasure is called Tailing Pot. It has the effect of restraining poison gas. It is very similar to the Nishang bottle and has reached the middle grade level. The other 6 magic weapons have average effects on Chen Qingyun. After Chen Qingyun, Chen Qingyun also stepped forward to choose and obtained a middle grade magic weapon, the Silver Light Shell, which is a defensive magic weapon that can cast a silver light curtain to resist attacks. Chen Daoran chose a gem called Ding Hai Pearl. This treasure has the effect of splitting water and breaking waves. It is not suitable for fighting, but it can play an unexpected role when needed. When it came to Chen Xianming, he chose the name of Dunkong Shuttle, which is a medium-grade magic weapon that combines offense and defense. After the magic weapons were divided, Chen Qingyun did not need much of the pills, talismans, etc. According to Chen Xianming's idea, Chen Qingyun chose 2 bottles of 3rd level blood replenishing pills, 6 3rd level talismans, 4 attack talismans, and 2 defense talismans. After these were divided, the next thing was the storage bag that Chen Xianming and Chen Qingyun had won. First, Chen Xianming killed Huo Xinglong. After opening the storage bag, he found a white jade card in it, which was particularly eye-catching. The appearance of this jade card instantly attracted the attention of Chen Qingyun, Chen Xianming and others. Xianfu, jade card. Even Chen Xianming, who was calm in character, couldn't help but exclaim at this time, with a look of surprise on his face. The Chen family had long had the idea of getting another Immortal Mansion jade card, so they inquired and paid attention to who had Immortal Mansion jade cards to exchange and sell. As long as there is a chance, they must strive for one. After all, there are 20 Immortal Mansion jade cards scattered all over the Star Sea. Whether it is a mortal or a cultivator, there is a chance to get one. Those who have obtained the Immortal Mansion jade cards and have no use for them can trade them for the treasures they want. Whether this transaction is safe or not depends on personal ability. In the previous Immortal Mansion jade card competitions, there will always be cultivators who are hunted down because of inadequate confidentiality measures and expose themselves to the Immortal Mansion jade card. Even the 5 major sects have clear regulations that whoever exchanges the Immortal Mansion jade card is equivalent to the jade card having a name and a master. But it will still be coveted by outsiders, who will try to take it for themselves. Outside the 5 major sects, if anyone has a jade token of the Immortal Palace, once the news leaks out, the Purple Palace cultivators from all sides will be jealous and covetous. It can even be said that some giant cultivators will also participate in the competition to benefit their descendants. It is said that Huo Xinglong is lucky. The Immortal Palace jade token on his body was picked up by a cultivator of the Huo family 2 years ago when he went out to sea to hunt monsters on an island. At that time, the Immortal Palace jade token was picked up on the island by a sea ape as a treasure and brought back to the nest for collection. The foundation building cultivator of the Huo family found this Immortal Palace jade token by chance after clearing out the group of sea apes. It was a dog shit luck. Knowing the preciousness of the Immortal Palace jade token, it is undoubtedly a hot potato to put it in his hands, and he does not have the strength to participate in it and enter the Immortal Palace. In the end, after thinking about it, he still took it back to the Huo family castle and exchanged a large amount of good merit resources according to the clan rules, which was more practical and enriched his pockets. This Immortal Palace jade plate was also exchanged for 300,000 family merits at the first time by Huo Xinglong, who carried it with him as if it were a treasure. This time, when attacking Chen Qingyun and the others, Huo Xinglong never thought that he would capsize in the gutter, giving away his belongings and the Immortal Palace jade plate as trophies. Great! Now our family has 2 Immortal Palace jade plates, and you can also prepare yourself. Seize this opportunity, and follow Qingyun to the secluded Immortal Palace. In this way, won't our family soon be able to give birth to 2 giant cultivators? Chen Qingyun said with joy. Everyone understood what it meant to be able to participate in the training of the secluded Immortal Palace. It was definitely a blessing for the Purple Palace cultivators. The rest of Chen Dailin and Chen Daoran also looked happy, watching Chen Xianming take out the Immortal Palace jade plate and verify its authenticity. Each Immortal Palace jade plate has a unique breath fluctuation, and there is a number record on it to distinguish it. As long as the cultivator scans it with his spiritual sense, he can read the information in it. Chen Xianming's Immortal Palace jade plate was numbered 16, while Chen Qingyun's was numbered 9. When Chen Xianming scanned the Immortal Palace jade plate with his spiritual sense, he felt that there were auras left by 5 giant cultivators. Even if he didn't know who the 5 giant cultivators were, he could be sure that they were from the 5 major sects, 1 each from Xingzhou, Wuan Island, Chonglu, Lingbao Mountain, and Yaoang Mountain. The Immortal Palace jade plates issued to the outside world were all made by the 5 major sects, and outsiders simply couldn't imitate and refine them. Once forged, they would be put on the killing list of the 5 major sects. At first, He wanted to get a Immortal Palace jade plate for the old patriarch, but now he got it without any effort, which made Chen Qingyun secretly happy. Great, with Chen Xianming, he would have another companion on his side. Chapter 505, Suyu Taoist Robe, Thunder Dragon Shears. According to Chen Xianming's current strength, he should have made a breakthrough to the Golden Core stage. The clan leader took the lead in condensing the Golden Core, which was more encouraging than the clan cultivators condensing the Golden Core, and could play a good leading role. The Huo family is indeed very powerful, and they have already obtained a piece of Immortal Palace jade plate. It's a pity that they chose to humiliate themselves, embarrass our Qingyun, and oppose us. Now that this thing has fallen into our hands, it can be regarded as their retribution, not as we provoke to fight. Chen Xianming looked at the Immortal Palace jade plate, his eyes surging with brilliance. I didn't expect that I would have such an opportunity. Ha ha ha, very good, very good. This trip to the secluded Immortal Palace may really be our opportunity to become a Taoist, as Qingguang said. At this moment, Chen Xianming was also very excited after obtaining the Immortal Palace jade plate. The last time he was so happy and excited was when he broke through the peak of the Purple Palace. Looking at the excited old clan leader, Chen Qingyun had more expectations for this trip to the secluded Immortal Palace. Apart from the Immortal Palace jade plate, the other items in Huo Xinglong's storage bag were all the normal assets of a Purple Palace cultivator. There were 360,000 spiritual stones, as well as some magic tools, elixirs, etc., which could only be said to be well behaved. Thinking that he still owed Chen Qingyun 65,000 spiritual stones, he guessed that Chen Qingyun would not accept these spiritual stones. Chen Xianming simply gave Chen Qingyun a middle-grade magic weapon, the Jiang Sword, and another low-grade magic weapon, the Liuyang Lamp. Qingyun, I know your temper. I guess you won't accept my spiritual stones, so I'll return the magic weapon to you. Chen Xianming smiled slightly. The total value of the two magic weapons has reached about 90,000, which is much more than the original debt. If the clan leader gave spiritual stones, Chen Qingyun would really not take them, but the magic weapon is practical and he just needs it. The Jiang Sword is a flying sword magic weapon. It can be used as a flying magic weapon and can also be used to kill enemies. It is very practical. The Six Yang Lamp is a magic weapon of fire attribute, which can automatically release 6 pure and yang flames to fight against enemies, especially ghosts and other intangible creatures. This medium-grade magic weapon is enough. The other one, you can keep it for yourself. Chen Qingyun only took one magic weapon, the Jiang Sword, and wanted to leave one for Chen Xianming. No, 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 I'll give it to you. If you don't want it, I'll give you spirit stones. Chen Xianming shook his head repeatedly, and said that he would divide some spirit stones for Chen Qingyun. Seeing this, Chen Qingyun smiled and accepted the two magic weapons. Next, everyone discussed carefully how to deal with the problem of the Huo family. In the end, it was Chen Xianming who proposed to hunt down the cultivators of the Huo family who fled abroad, and try to cut the grass and root it out, leaving no future troubles. As for the mortal blood of the Huo family, let the Ling family, Sun family and other families divide it up. This matter does not require Chen Qingyun to participate. Chen Xianming will do it personally. As for the captured books, techniques, and notes, etc. In the next month, after sorting and summarizing, any cultivator of the Chen family can read and take the exam for free, as long as they are not passed on to outsiders. Spiritual medicines, spiritual herbs, and resource industries also need to be transplanted and digested, all of which are handled by Chen Dalin, Chen Dohai, and Chen Xianming. After staying on Lingjian Island for a day, Chen Qingyun also counted the storage bags. The things in Huo Liming and Huo Lin's storage bags are similar, with a total value of spiritual stones of around 760,000. And no medium-grade or high-grade spiritual stones. There are a total of 5 magic weapons, including the black gold flying blade and the golden wire net, which Chen Qingyun decided to keep. What attracted Chen Qingyun's attention the most was that there were more than 130 magic weapons, which were all strengthening points. It is worth mentioning that in Huo Lin's storage bag, there are also many refining materials and refining notes. Chen Qingyun could infer that this person should be a second-level top-grade weapon refiner. 6 of the second-level magic tools are brand new, and they are obviously less than 2 years old. Huo Xinglai's worth is extraordinary. His storage bags are all third-level and have huge capacity. In the storage bag, there are more than 1.3 million spiritual stones alone, and the rest of the elixirs, talismans, etc. are also dazzling, with more than 100 kinds of each. As for the magic tools, they are quite standard. There are only 2 magic weapons of medium level, a spear, and a pair of wrist guards. There is also a top-grade spiritual stone, 2 medium-grade spiritual stones, spiritual medicines, spiritual herbs, mineral materials, and a large number of martial arts books. So many. Chen Qingyun's eyes lit up slightly after opening so many resources. Obviously, these resources on Huo Xinglai are definitely not his own. Most of them come from the Huo family. When he evacuated with his clansmen, he brought these Huo family heritage with him. Now, these resources have all fallen into Chen Qingyun's hands, enriching his pockets. And it can be said that the Huo family has brought this upon themselves. These are basically the spoils of war seized from the battle with the Huo family this time. For Chen Qingyun, there is almost nothing he likes. After reaching the Jiandan stage, these Xifu stage resources are not very useful to Chen Qingyun. The foundation of the Xifu family does not have much appeal to Jiandan cultivators. The most practical ones are actually precious resources such as the Snow Spirit Fairy Dew, the best spirit stone, and the life magic weapon. Of course, for Chen Qingyun, the more magic tools, the better, and this is what he lacks the most now. In addition, there are treasures that nourish the soul. After refining 2 5-element incarnations in succession, Chen Qingyun's soul consumed 2/5. At a normal speed, it takes at least 20 years to recover. Chen Qingyun will not think about making a third clone in the short term, as his life is more important. Excessive consumption of the soul will also cause a decline in strength, affecting one's own blood and path. There are more than 2,100 magic weapons on him. Chen Qingyun spent 2 days carefully counting them and found 2 of them. One is the Zuyu Taoist robe, and the other is a pair of Thunder Dragon shears. The Zuyu Taoist robe is very magical. It is engraved with the teleportation magic power, which has reached the 2nd level upper grade. Once it is used, it can teleport a distance of about 10 feet in a moment. Although this distance is not long, in a fight, teleporting within 1 foot of the enemy is enough to launch a fatal attack. The principle of a slight error can lead to a huge difference is especially common in battle. Dodging attacks, a distance of 10 feet is also very useful, mainly similar to the teleportation ability of the Yuanying Great Monk, which is far from being matched. Thunder Dragon shears. This is the nemesis of silk, robes, large nets, and flag-like magic weapons. It is a 2nd-level medium-quality product. It can also be used as an attack magic weapon. It can be divided into 2 and used as a blade. Together, it is a treasure shears. Chen Qingyun left behind the Zuyu Taoist robe and the Thunder Dragon shears, and decomposed more than 2,100 magic weapons. In an instant, many reinforcement points increased rapidly and reached 42,179 points in an instant. Strengthen the 8 Desolations. Chen Qingyun took the lead in strengthening the 8 Desolations, first improving the strength of this Jiandan clone, which is currently the biggest trump card in his hand. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 506, Middle Stage of Golden Core. After the strengthening order was issued, Chen Qingyun noticed that 24,192 points of strengthening were deducted. Compared with the 12,096 points of strengthening required to strengthen the life magic weapon from the best magic weapon, The strengthening points required to strengthen it into a medium-grade life magic weapon doubled. As Chen Qingyun noticed, he saw the light surging on Baoang's body, and the golden and gorgeous light source rose up, which looked quite dazzling. A sound of tiger roars and dragon roars sounded in Baoang's body, loud and deep, rushing straight into the sky, with a vast meaning of sweeping all the 9 states and 4 seas, which made people afraid. Chen Qingyun could clearly sense that Baoang's strength broke through the shackles, and with the golden light covering it, he reached the middle stage of Jianden in an instant. According to common sense, it takes at least 50 years of hard practice to break through from the early stage of Jianden to the middle stage. It only took me 1 or 2 seconds, and Baoang reached the middle stage of Jianden, and his cultivation level went further. Compared with the early stage of Jianden, the spirit and spirit have been improved by more than double. In terms of the strength of the divine consciousness, the coverage range of the divine consciousness can reach about 50,000 meters. According to the ordinary mid-stage Jianden cultivators, the range of divine consciousness is between 20,000 and 30,000, and Chen Qingyun can exceed it by 1 or 2 times, which is reflected in the practice of the cultivation method. The Shenting Longxiang Sutra has laid a solid foundation for the cultivation of the soul, and there is also the blessing of the 5 elements sex one-line cultivation method, which makes Chen Qingyun's soul strength far exceed that of the cultivators of the same level. In terms of divine consciousness, according to the current strength of the Baoang clone, at most 100 natal magic weapons can be controlled at the same time. In the middle stage of the Jianden, the power foundation brought by this realm gives Chen Qingyun enough confidence to sweep around in the Dunshai Xianfu, and it is difficult to meet an opponent. Wait, that's not right. Baoang can't be brought into the Dunshai Xianfu, and will be excluded by the power, so he can only stay outside on time. Fortunately, in the Xianfu, the strength that everyone can exert is the Purple Mansion period, and equipment and plugins beyond this realm cannot be used. In the Purple Mansion stage, Chen Qingyun has a great advantage, enough to be regarded as one of the top cultivators in the Purple Mansion stage. Middle, Jianden stage, as long as there are more strengthening points, it is not a problem to reach the peak of Jianden in 1 day. Chen Qingyun couldn't help but be ecstatic and wanted to raise his head and laugh wildly. Unlike the previous 5 elements puppet, this external incarnation is a part of his body and is not limited by the control distance. As long as he wants, he can do 2 things at the same time. The main body is active in the inner star sea, and the clone is going to the outer star sea. There is no problem. There are still some remaining strengthening points, which are not enough to strengthen the 8 desolations and 9 netherworlds for the time being. Chen Qingyun simply strengthened the Xuayu Depao continuously into a top-grade magic weapon, which can teleport 5 feet in a moment, that is, about 15 meters. Compared with the 5 elements sky escape, the mana consumption of the Xuayu Depao is small, and it is also suitable for close-range combat, and it is very good to accurately control the degree of mana consumption. The Thunder Dragon Shears were also continuously strengthened to the top-grade magic weapon, with the power increased 4-fold, and the strength has reached the top level of magic weapons. After the treasure scissors were divided into individual blades, the power was comparable to the same level flying blades, which was equivalent to using 2 top-grade magic weapons at the same time. If it weren't for the lack of strengthening points, it would have been further strengthened to the level of the natal magic weapon, ready to be used on Baoang and Jiuyu. Strengthening points, 2447. The strengthening was temporarily stopped, leaving some strengthening points. The appearance of the 2 fine equipments, the Xuayu Taoist robe and the Thunder Dragon Shears, once again enhanced Chen Qingyun's foundation. In addition, there are the newly acquired tailing pot, the Xuanjin flying blade, and the golden wire net, and there are many superior magic weapons in hand. If the realm is not enough, the equipment will make up for it, with so many refined preparations, covering from the 3rd level to the 4th level. Ordinary Jianden cultivators are not as good as Chen Qingyun. The Huo family incident came to an end, and Chen Qingyun stayed on Zhenhai Island to live, guiding King Luan to practice and refine weapons from time to time, and his life was full of flavor. Outside Zhenhai Island, a storm gradually arose in various parts of Xinghai, which will not subside for several years in the future. The source of this storm was a hard-to-find Immortal Palace Jade Plate. At first, the first Immortal Palace Jade Plate was exposed in the hands of a cultivator, and the news spread, which led to the cultivator being besieged by many Purple Palace cultivators. Even the Purple Palace cultivators of the 5 major sects, after hearing the news, did not hesitate to secretly take action, put down their status and participate in the hunt and kill to seize the Immortal Palace Jade Plate. There is no regulation on who must own the Immortal Palace Jade Plate outside the 5 major sects. Whoever has good luck can get it. This also makes the competition for these 20 Immortal Palace Jade Plates extremely fierce. Wherever one appears, it will definitely become the center of the storm. When the Chen family learned that the Immortal Palace Jade Plate appeared and triggered a fight among all parties, the Immortal Palace Jade Plate had disappeared. It was unknown which Taoist friend with extraordinary wisdom got it and hid somewhere to recuperate and wait for the Immortal Palace to open. After the first Immortal Palace Jade Plate exposed the whereabouts, some news about this occasionally spread in the following time, but most of them were just rumors. Even so, whenever there was a little movement, it would attract Purple Palace cultivators from all sides to come and see it in person, not missing any opportunity. One of the most typical examples here is the Ling family of Xinghuo Islands. As a family as famous as the former Huo family, the Ling family has 7 Purple Palace cultivators, 2 of whom are in the early Purple Palace stage. In the past 2 months, Ling Kai, a qi refining cultivator of the Ling family, had great luck. In a county town on a secular island, he found the Immortal Palace Jade Plate from a street kid, exchanged it for a spirit stone, and wanted to bring it back to the family to receive the reward. As a result, Ling Kai, who was not experienced in the world, was spotted by a cultivator who practiced the spiritual pupil technique when he went to the market to trade. The cultivator saw through the items in his storage bag at a glance, and was caught in the fire. He was killed after leaving the market. If Ling Kai had not been smart at the critical moment and knew how to make choices, and directly abandoned the storage bag to buy time to escape, he would have been killed by the bandit cultivator. It was precisely because he escaped the disaster and returned to the family alive that Ling Kai reported this shocking incident to the family, which immediately attracted the attention of the entire family's top leaders. Damn it, the fairy jade token that his descendants exchanged from the secular children was not even warmed up, but was remembered by other cultivators and was almost killed outside. Whether it was for the purpose of maintaining the family's dignity and protecting the short-sighted clan members, or considering the importance of the fairy jade token, how could the Ling family swallow this loss? They immediately dispatched 3 Purple Palace cultivators to investigate according to the clues. Finally, in just 3 days, the Ling family tracked down the qi refining cultivator on Hunyuan Island. The qi refining cultivator was named Wu Xiangwen, and he was a casual cultivator. This person was also very courageous. He actually sought cooperation with the Chamber of Commerce and wanted to sell the Immortal Palace Jade Plate, asking for a lot of resources in exchange. Once the news of the Immortal Palace Jade Plate was released, it spread on the same day, and the Ling family quickly came to find him. There was no suspense about the final result. Chapter 507, Fulfilling the Promise and Helping You Achieve Enlightenment. How can a qi refining cultivator fight against 3 Purple Mansion immortals? Just kneel down and beg for mercy. Even the Chamber of Commerce that originally wanted to cooperate with Wu Xiangwen, which had little foundation, immediately distanced itself from the relationship and dared not touch it when it learned that the Immortal Mansion Jade Plate was snatched from the younger generation of the Ling family, and even assisted the Ling family in return. The Ling family was also decisive in killing and did not give Wu Xiangwen a chance to beg for mercy. They directly chopped the other party into pieces and threw them into the sea to feed the fish, and took back the Immortal Mansion Jade Plate. This matter has attracted much attention recently. The cultivators in the inner and outer Xinghai all know that the Ling family has an Immortal Mansion Jade Plate. But what is the bottom of knowing? What is the foundation of the Ling family? What is the strength? Without the support of the giant and patriarch, who dares to act trashly? The Sun family, a Purple Mansion family in the Xinghuo Islands, Although they are jealous of the Ling family's immortal mansion Jade Plate, they did not fight for it. The Ling family became the focus of heated discussion for a while. There were many people who wanted to take action against the Ling family, but there was no one who dared to do so. The Ling family, with a fairy palace jade card, became the focus of attention. The Chen family had it two pieces, and the news was not leaked out. Chen Xianming and others kept it tightly covered. The outside world was fighting, but Chen Qingyun's time passed unknowingly in a leisurely atmosphere. Day and night flowed, spring went and autumn came, and 10 years passed in a blink of an eye. In the past few years, the great role played by the Earth Vein slurry finally upgraded the spiritual veins of Lingjian Island and Zhenhai Island to the 4th level top grade. During this period, the Black Tortoise puppet had already arrived near Zhenhai Island. Chen Qingyun also took out 9 water spirit fruits from it and gave them to Chen Qingyun, Chen Daoran, and Chen Dalin. According to the family rules, the 3 of them paid 50,000 spirit stones or merits each and exchanged 3 water spirit fruits from Chen Qingyun. Chen Qingyun opened up the purple mansion relatively early. After taking 3 water spirit fruits, his cultivation broke through to the middle stage of the purple mansion. Chen Dalin and Chen Daoran reached the bottleneck of breaking through. They could break through to the middle stage of the purple mansion by themselves. With only 2 years to prepare before the opening of the secluded immortal mansion, Chen Qingyun returned to Zhenhai Island at the invitation of Chen Xianming. What surprised Chen Qingyun this time was that the old patriarch prepared a big surprise for him. After more than 10 years, I promised you that I would help you achieve the Golden Elixir Road. Now I can fulfill this promise. Chen Xianming smiled and took out a storage bag and handed it to Chen Qingyun very solemnly. This is. Chen Qingyun's expression moved. How could he not know what was in the storage bag? After the storage bag was full, it still wouldn't weigh much, but at this moment, Chen Qingyun only felt that his hands were heavy. This storage bag was full. Chen Xianming's next words also confirmed the conjecture. This storage bag contains 16,000 first-level demon pills, 500 second-level demon pills, and 5 third-level demon pills, which are enough for you to practice the great wilderness devouring demon art and break through to the golden core stage in one fell swoop. 2. Break through from the peak of the purple mansion to the golden core stage. The demand for demon beast resources and the great wilderness devouring demon art is calculated. 20,000 first-level demon pills are needed, or 1,000 second-level demon pills. If they're all third-level demon pills, about 100. The better fourth-level demon pills require 10. The family has mobilized the whole family this time, and the clan members have been busy for more than 10 years. Finally, all the demon pills needed for Chen Qingyun to break through the golden core stage have been collected, and the number of demon pills is sufficient. The cost here is calculated to be at least 940,000 spirit stones. Including manpower, it is enough to break through 1 million spirit stones. This is a resource that can break through the golden core stage. In fact, as long as Chen Xianming is a little greedy, he can secretly refine it and break through to the golden core stage in one fell swoop. With his status as the clan leader and his strong power, even if someone in the family feels that it is unfair and wants to stand up for Chen Qingyun, considering the interests of the family, how can they go against Chen Xianming? The Chen family can give birth to a giant and cultivator. No matter how it is born, it has immeasurable benefits for the Chen family. This historical feat is enough to be recorded in the history of the Chen family and praised by future generations. In the entire Zhenghai Zhuxian world, there are only a handful of giant families, which are already the top families. From this, it can be seen how much this storage bag attracts Chen Xianming. Being able to resist the temptation of breaking through the giant and also shows the firmness of Chen Xianming's Tao heart. If he wants, he can use it himself first, and then go to collect demon pill resources for Chen Qingyun. Clan leader, you have also reached the peak of the purple mansion. After 10 years of polishing, your cultivation has already reached the level of great perfection, and you can also condense the golden elixir. I think you should use these demon pills first. The leader of a clan can reach the golden elixir stage, which can also boost the morale of the clan and the confidence of the clan members. Hearing this, Chen Xianming shook his head and said, "You know that my grandfather is a man of his word, and I always keep my promises. This is also my principle of dealing with people. As the clan leader, you must be responsible for your words and deeds, and take the lead. How can you take your words lightly?" At this point, Chen Xianming said righteously, "You have made the greatest contribution to the family. Helping you to condense the elixir first is what the whole clan wants and what they expect the most. Over the years, Qingfeng, Qingnan, Qinglai, including your grandfather Dalin and other elders, have been running around to help you achieve the golden elixir road, and secretly purchasing demon pills everywhere. They worked so hard, and they wanted to do good for you. Now they have finally gathered all the resources. It is a great event for the family, and it is also a wish." After a conversation, Chen Xianming did not lament the bitterness of these years. He only picked some happy things to talk about, and reported good news to Chen Qingyun, not bad news. Knowing that these demon pill resources are the expectation of the whole family, Chen Qingyun was touched and solemnly accepted them. Over the years, the feedback of the family has been reflected in Chen Qingyun. Not only the supply of demon pills, but also in terms of salary. Chen Qingyun has received 1 million spirit stones in the past 10 years. The annual salary of 100,000 spirit stones is far more than the annual salary of other family cultivators. According to these incomes, Chen Qingyun often appears in various places in the inner and outer stars. Baoang and Jiuyu have also gone to Qinglingfeng and various major markets more than a dozen times to continuously collect broken magic tools. With such efforts, the resources to strengthen Jiuyu were gathered, and Jiuyu was further promoted to the middle stage of Jiandan. Since the golden core was mentioned, Chen Qingyun did not hide it and mentioned the matter of the clone forming the core to the old patriarch. Baoang did not reveal it, but showed Jiuyu. Seeing Jiuyu appear and showing the fluctuation of the golden core stage, Chen Xianming widened his eyes and felt incredible. Is this the clone you refined? The old patriarch, who always had a calm mentality, could not remain calm at this time and could not help but exclaimed, "Golden core stage, this is the golden core stage." Chapter 508, The Origin of the Immortal Palace, the Heavenly Vein Yuaning. Seeing Chen Xianming's unbelievable and excited look, Chen Qingyun smiled and nodded, and briefly introduced. To be honest with the clan leader, more than 10 years ago, not long after returning from King Liuhai, I made this clone condense the golden elixir. Chen Qingyun slowly explained how he made Jiuyu, the 5-element external incarnation, and the key point was to divide the soul and create the second body. Of course, the actions of strengthening Jiuyu and the existence of the system were not mentioned at all and would not be exposed. Listening to Chen Qingyun's narration and looking at Jiuyu's golden elixir clone, Chen Xianming was extremely excited. Although he was very surprised, how did Chen Qingyun do it, to make a 5-element external incarnation condense the golden elixir? But when he thought of Chen Qingyun's deep fortune and good opportunities, he didn't think about the reason and didn't ask. Instead, he looked forward to the day when the 5-element puppet he refined would condense the elixir in the future. How exciting it will be then! At present, Chen Xianming, Chen Qingyun, and Chen Qingzi have all fused the 5 elements puppet and mastered the Tangsu refining god technique. Because of this, the 3 of them further refined the 5 elements external incarnation. However, unlike Chen Qingyun, their clones are still at the 9th level of Qi refining. If you want to build a foundation, it is not difficult. You can absorb the 5 elements spiritual objects to advance quickly. The 3 of them are exploring on their own and have the confidence to build a foundation for their clones. Going further, if you want to open up the Purple Mansion, you have to take it one step at a time, and you definitely won't have the rocket-like promotion speed of Chen Qingyun. After imparting some experience in making the 5 elements external incarnation, and then talking about when you will form a pill and count the days, Chen Qingyun mentioned the matter of the secluded Immortal Mansion. The training in the Immortal Palace is about to begin, and it will be opened on time in 2 years. The Immortal Palace can only allow Purple Palace cultivators to enter, I plan to participate in the training in the Immortal Palace and obtain as many resources as possible before retreating to form the elixir. Chen Xianming was about to mention this matter and make plans early, so he nodded and said, "Indeed, I also want to remind you that once you break through the Golden Core stage, you will not be able to participate in the training in the Immortal Palace. For now, Qingyun, Daolin and Daoren, although their cultivation is not weak, they have reached the Purple Palace stage. But, in the Immortal Palace where strong people gather, the strength of the early and middle Purple Palace does not have an advantage, and it is easy to be at a disadvantage. Even if I am not sure that I can compete with those Purple Palace fellows, it is not an exaggeration to say that it is a dragon's den and a tiger's lair." Chen Xianming was a little emotional and a little worried in his heart. The Purple Mansion cultivators from the 5 major sects are participating, as are the Purple Mansion cultivators from all walks of life in the Starsea. Whoever can obtain the Immortal Mansion Jade Plate is an ordinary person and should not be underestimated. So, in my opinion, it is most appropriate for you and me to go together in the family. Chen Xianming expressed his thoughts. For the Immortal Mansion Jade Plate he won. He has actually been thinking about the ownership issue. Who will get this participation quota? Should it be given to the younger generation? However, considering the strength of the Purple Mansion cultivators in the family, it is still a little lacking to participate with the initial Purple Mansion cultivation. It is obviously impossible to let Chen Qingyun and others be cannon fodder. Patriarch, you are the most suitable person in the family for this participation quota, so naturally you will participate. Chen Qingyun nodded seriously, guessing that the appearance of this Immortal Mansion Jade Plate would interest Chen Qingyun, Chen Daolin, and Chen Daoren. According to Chen Xianming's character, he always thinks about the family and takes care of the younger generation. He must have thought about giving up this quota to the younger generation. However, even if the 5th sister gets this quota and can participate in it, it is not necessarily a good thing. The fact is indeed as Chen Xianming said, if the giant and cultivators are not restricted from entering, how can the Purple Mansion cultivators intervene in such a feast of opportunity as the Escape Immortal Mansion? And those who can participate in it, let's say in the 5 major sects, no Purple Mansion cultivator will be a simple character. These people know that the competition in the Immortal Mansion is very fierce, so they naturally don't want to be cannon fodder. They must have been prepared and equipped with various magic weapons and rare spiritual objects. Even Nangang Yuang, who is as strong as he is, needs to be treated seriously. He thinks that he can't go around in the Escape Immortal Mansion and do whatever he wants, let alone other Purple Mansion cultivators. The dangers in the Escape Immortal Mansion, in addition to the battles between cultivators, there are also monsters living in the Immortal Mansion, various creatures and unknown species in the Forbidden Area. Over the years, both Chen Xianming and Chen Qingyun have been constantly asking for information about the secluded Immortal Mansion, and have learned more and more about it. Chen Xianming has a wide network of contacts and much experience. He sorted out all the information he collected about the secluded Immortal Mansion and recorded it in a jade slip. He handed the jade slip to Chen Qingyun and said solemnly, "I have collected some relevant information about the secluded Immortal Mansion in the past few years. I will go with you this time. This is our first time to participate in the Immortal Mansion trip. The entire training process will last for 3 years, which is not short. We need to be fully prepared. You can read this jade slip yourself." Chen Qingyun took the jade slip and read it carefully. This Xinghai Zhuxian world is just a small sea area in the Wanyao Sea. Even so, it has bred an extremely prosperous Zhuxian civilization. And the secluded Immortal Mansion is not in the Xinghai, but is located in the Wanyao Sea. Strictly speaking, it does not even belong to this world. Because the Dunshai Xianfu is a world of its own, it is unknown how it came about. All we know is that it is a fragment of a small world, in which some of the origin of the heavenly Tao remains, bordering this world, like a bubble, and no one knows when it will burst. The most widely circulated rumor about it is that it assisted the leader of the human race, the founder of the Xingzong, Xingzun, In forging the Tanmeiyuanying. More than 1,000 years ago, Xingzun, with his extraordinary talent, had an epiphany in the Dunshai Xianfu, and after 9,981 days, he mastered one of the origins of the heavenly Tao, and finally closed himself off for 99 years and successfully condensed the Tanmeiyuanying. On the day when the Tanmeiyuanying condensed, the heaven and earth resounded, and the mountains and rivers resonated. This feat was directly recorded in the history of the Xinghai, and the Dunshai Xianfu became famous in one fell swoop and enjoyed a good reputation in the Xinghai. It was also spread that the Dunshai Xianfu was once a mansion built by an immortal from the upper realm, a small world like a paradise, so it was also known as the Dunshai. I just don't know what happened back then. This world was broken and drifted to the sea of monsters. There are all kinds of strange things in the world of immortal cultivation, such as various dead places that were eventually derived from wars or the destruction of the laws of heaven and earth. Some places are weak in space, and will suddenly disintegrate after being stepped into by excessive forces, and will be shattered in the turbulence of space and completely destroyed. Some places are stable in space and can accommodate Yuandiing cultivators to practice, which was the case with the retreat Immortal Palace at the beginning. The reason why it can only allow cultivators below the giant stage to enter has a lot to do with the remaining origin of the heavenly way. Chapter 509. For unknown reasons, this source of the heavenly Tao in the secluded immortal mansion had some intelligence and independent thinking when it was discovered. Especially after being comprehended by Xingzun and absorbing most of the heavenly Tao source to form an infant. It showed a consciousness of resisting high-level cultivators from entering the immortal mansion. Therefore, all cultivators above the purple mansion stage were excluded by him and could not get close to him. It is impossible to define what race he belongs to or what kind of creature he is. He can only be classified as the ultimate form of creatures, without form or shape, so he is called Wuming, or he. In view of this, Xingzun simply followed his consciousness and set up a ban in the secluded immortal mansion to exclude cultivators above the purple mansion stage from entering. In order to allow future generations to continue to obtain opportunities in the immortal mansion, it was simply set up as a trial place for future generations. It is precisely because of the special nature of the secluded immortal mansion that cultivators above the purple mansion stage are restricted from entering, which makes the creatures bred in the immortal mansion, even if they have the highest cultivation level, not breakthrough to the golden core stage. In addition, it is only open once every 60 years, providing a relatively stable growth period for various natural treasures, spiritual herbs and medicines, and can breed many spiritual essences of heaven and earth. With this attraction, it is enough to attract cultivators from all sides. This is still the attraction of the immortal mansion itself, which is highly valued by the 5 major sects. Another point is the grievances and conflicts between the 5 major sects themselves. Xingzong occupies the inner Star Sea, and the 4 major sects of Wuan Island, Chonglu, Lingbao Mountain, and Yaoang Mountain are each located in a sea area of the outer Star Sea, assisting Xingzong in governing the outer Star Sea. In this situation, it is obviously impossible to say that the 5 parties have cooperated like this for more than 1,000 years without any hatred and conflict. On the surface, the 4 major sects of Wuan Island all stay in the outer Star Sea honestly and serve Xingzong as their leader. In fact, in the final analysis, everyone wants to set foot in the resource-rich, safer and more stable inner Star Sea. After all, the outer Star Sea borders the 10,000 monsters sea, which means that there are endless monsters with different strengths that can reproduce in the outer Star Sea and continue to grow. Every time there is a monster tide in the Star Sea, the outer Star Sea is the first to be hit by the beast tide. Coupled with the competition for various marine resources, human greed, selfishness, it is inevitable that there will be grievances between the 5 major sects, which need to be resolved. In the situation that the Star Sea situation cannot be shaken and the 4 major sects of Wuan Island, Chonglu, Lingbao Mountain, and Yaoang Mountain are each guarding one side,
Then there is only another way to resolve grievances and vent dissatisfaction. The Dunshai Xianfu is such a place. Shangshun Shui became a battlefield for the five sects to resolve grievances during the trial. There are many examples of fighting for resources and fighting for grievances in it, which has become a microcosm of the cruel competition in the world of immortal cultivation. From this, it can be seen how dangerous the struggle is. The Chen family has limited contacts, and their experience in the past years is only at the foundation building level. They have only paid attention to the knowledge of the secluded Immortal Palace in the past 10 years, and have explored it little by little. According to the records in the Jade Slips, the secluded Immortal Palace covers a huge area. It is not just one Immortal Palace, but is composed of many areas. These areas have been explored, divided, and summarized by successive cultivators, and are now divided into 5 major areas. From the outside to the inside, they are the periphery of the Immortal Palace, the 5 elements spirit realm, the foggy area, the ring cloud layer, and the core of the Immortal Palace in the most central area. Needless to say, the core of the Immortal Palace is the place with the most opportunities, but if you want to enter here, in addition to fighting all the way across, you also need to pass the many tests set by the Immortal Palace. Chen Qingyun only has a rough idea of the specific difficulty. A cultivator in the early stage of the Purple Palace can only move around the periphery of the Immortal Palace at most, and it is also extremely dangerous. In addition to being wary of fellow cultivators, you may face attacks from 3rd level middle grade and upper grade monsters at any time. This is also the experience gained by the 5 major sects with the blood of their own cultivators. So now there is a rule that only cultivators of the middle stage of Purple Mansion and above can participate in the journey to the Immortal Mansion to minimize losses. It is not easy for a sect to train a Purple Mansion cultivator, so naturally they will not send him out as cannon fodder and damage their own foundation. Who would do such a stupid thing? As for the Immortal Mansion Jade cards outside the 5 major sects, it is up to fate. If you, a cultivator of the early stage of Purple Mansion, can get it, you can also participate. It depends on whether you cherish your life and whether you have the confidence. The farthest record of the cultivators of the middle stage of Purple Mansion is that they were active in the 5 elements spiritual domain. This area is composed of 5 landforms: gold, wood, water, fire and earth. Whether the 5 elements spiritual domain can resist the fog area in the future depends on their own means and foundation. The cultivators of the late stage of Purple Mansion can resist the fog area, wander in it, and try to impact the ring cloud area. The top cultivators of the Purple Mansion can basically pass through the foggy area and reach the ring cloud layer to obtain more precious opportunities. The closer you are to the core area of the Immortal Mansion, the more opportunities you will have. This is an indisputable fact. In addition to these 5 major areas, there is another point that needs special attention. That is, there are 2 extremely dangerous areas in the Immortal Mansion, and the degree of danger is so great that even the top cultivators of the Purple Mansion will retreat. These 2 places are called forbidden areas. One is called the Demon Guide Swamp, and the other is called the Netherwind Valley. What is in these 2 forbidden areas has not been fully explored so far. It is only known that throughout the ages, any cultivator who has mistakenly entered them has died, so there is not much useful information at all. This makes these 2 forbidden areas shrouded in mystery, and they are marked as forbidden areas by the 5 major sects, and cannot be crossed. If you accidentally break into it, well, then you can only pray for good luck. Finally, it should be noted that the Immortal Mansion also has 2 forbidden methods, namely, Forbidden Air and Forbidden Spirit. The cultivators cannot fly in the air, use their spiritual sense to explore, and communicate by voice. So in this case, other methods need to be relied on for long-distance communication, and rely on footwork to move towards the core of the Immortal Mansion. The entire training time will last for 3 years. Once the time is up, the Immortal Mansion law will automatically exclude all participating cultivators. This is all the information Chen Xianming has collected about the secluded Immortal Mansion. This information is very secret and will not be widely circulated in the outside world. After reading the Jade Slip, which was more complete than the information he had collected, Chen Qingyun said,
Compared to the 5 major sects, although we don't have much information, we have a general understanding of the situation. The training in the Immortal Palace will last for 3 years. Before we set off, we have to plan the development direction of the family in those 3 years, and arrange for manpower to manage each industry. Haha, you are becoming more and more considerate of the family. I should have abdicated the position of the patriarch a long time ago and let you take over. Chen Xianming smiled and said, I will take care of these things during this period. You don't have to worry. What I am most worried about is actually you. Worry? About me? Chen Qingyun didn't understand what he meant. Chapter 510. Be cautious and do things with courage and diligence. My own strength, not to mention how well I could fight against a giant and cultivator. At least I was definitely the best among all the Purple Mansion cultivators and participating in the journey to the secluded Immortal Palace. What was the reason for the old patriarch's worry? Qingyun. When Chen Qingyun was puzzled, Chen Xianming showed a solemn expression and said as if he was admonishing his juniors. As family cultivators, we have long been accustomed to unity and mutual assistance. Compared with independent cultivators, our methods and temperament are not so cruel and ruthless, and we put our own interests first. What I am worried about is that in the competition in the Immortal Palace, you will be soft-hearted and reveal your flaws. Qingyun, you must remember that when you get to the Immortal Palace, you must not show any weakness. As long as you make a move, you must be more ruthless and beat the opponent to death. If you encounter an opportunity you like, you must be bold to snatch food from the tiger's mouth and fight for it yourself, and don't miss anyone. Chen Xianming, who has always been harmonious and gentle in character, is not ambiguous at all about the competition for opportunities and fighting, and will never show mercy. This is also the iron-blooded and ruthless side of his heart, but he does not show it in front of his clansmen, and will be restrained. Fighting on the road of cultivation, being ruthless to the enemy, and leaving no trouble, this is the most basic principle. Although the cultivators of our Chen family don't take the initiative to cause trouble, they are never afraid of it. They should be cautious and do things diligently and bravely. Grab the opportunity when it's time to seize it, kill the enemy when it's time to kill it, and never be indecisive. You may think I'm long-winded, and I don't need to talk about these things, but I still have to tell you shamelessly, you have to listen to it in your heart and remember it firmly. It would be great if you can do it according to what I say. In response to Chen Xianming's reminder, Chen Qingyun nodded slowly and said word by word. If people don't offend me, I won't offend others. If people offend me, I will kill them. If you have been living on Linjian Island, protected by your family, and growing up under their wings. If you have never really experienced it outside and sharpened your mind, you really can't be ruthless, and there will be times when you are soft-hearted. In such a situation, it is inevitable that people will be calculated and set traps. But after growing up to now, experiencing traps, evil hearts, and various battles, Chen Qingyun's mind has long been mature, far beyond his peers. For Chen Xianming's reminder, Chen Qingyun restrained his edge at this time, played the role of a junior, and listened carefully. The two sat opposite each other and talked, preparing for this trip to the Immortal Palace. Chen Qingyun was already armed to the teeth and well equipped. Except for a few magic weapons that were not strengthened, they were reserved for strength preservation. The rest of the black gold flying blades, gold wire nets, etc., were all strengthened to the level of top-grade magic weapons. For the subsequent strength improvement of Baoang and Jiuyu, Chen Qingyun decided that after the trip to the secluded Immortal Palace was over, he would condense the golden elixir and strengthen these two clones together to reach the peak of the golden elixir stage as soon as possible. Now, rather than saying that Chen Qingyun is participating in the Immortal Palace training alone, it is better to say that he is a group of people with a group of Purple Palace peak puppets. Chen Xianming recently wiped out the Huo family, and he gained a lot of spiritual stones, magic weapons, talismans and elixirs. Chen Qingyun initially thought that he still had a few spare magic weapons, so he might as well prepare a few more magic weapons for the old patriarch to arm him and improve his strength. Before he could make any move,
Chen Xianmin took out 5 or 6 magic weapons and wanted Chen Qingyun to choose 2. Chen Qingyun also needed to decompose the magic weapons and focus on strengthening the 2 clones, but he did not get them from Chen Xianmin and shook his head to refuse. The two then discussed some family affairs and decided that Chen Daoran and Chen Dalin would temporarily manage the family for the next 5 years. Due to the special nature of the retreating immortal mansion, participants could not bring treasures, magic talismans, puppets, etc. that exceeded the purple mansion period into it. Therefore, Chen Qingyun left 3 4th-level puppet beasts in the family as a force to guard. Among them, the puppet tiger was guarded on Zhenhai Island and was controlled by Chen Qingyun. Unlike magic weapons, the 4th-level puppets can be controlled by purple mansion cultivators. As for the spirit beasts, 10 years have passed, and Moling is still in the middle stage of purple mansion, and it will take some time to break through the late stage of purple mansion. Bei Ling's growth is very obvious. Originally, when he took the water spirit fruit, Bei Ling was only 1 step away from the middle stage of purple mansion. Now, after several years of accumulation and breaking through the bottleneck, he finally advanced to the middle stage of purple mansion this year. As for Bei Ling, the little guy is a sky-wind beast, and the advancement speed is not bad. From the initial foundation building stage, it has now reached the peak of foundation building. To break through the purple mansion stage, you only need a little resource to break through the shackles. Her king's strength is synchronized with Bei Ling, and the difference is not big. It is also the peak of foundation building. Spirit beasts open up the purple mansion, either relying on their own bloodline, as long as the time is up, they can break through in their sleep. Or they open their own spiritual wisdom and practice, and advance by taking natural materials and treasures. Chen Qingyun often plays with the 3 spirit beasts, and pays more attention to the growth of Moling. He has always been curious about the origin of Moling's race. This trip to the secluded Immortal Palace may find the answer, and he can better cultivate Moling in the future. After making the necessary preparations and leaving a backup plan, Chen Qingyun is looking forward to the trip to the Immortal Palace. The Immortal Palace is about to open. Many 3rd-level spiritual objects and many high-level chambers of commerce in various parts of Zhenghai are temporarily scarce, and premium purchases have become the norm. An ordinary mid-grade magic weapon can be bought for 60,000 spiritual stones, but now the price has risen to between 70,000 and 80,000 spiritual stones. Those defensive magic weapons are more expensive and out of stock. Some Purple Palace monks who are about to participate in the Immortal Palace trip simply collect materials themselves and entrust the refiners to refine the magic weapons they want. Seeing that magic weapons are scarce in the market, Chen Qingyun and Chen Daoran seized the opportunity. Chen Qingyun took over the refining of magic weapons in Danhong Pavilion in Hefang City. While earning a lot of spiritual stones, he also gained a lot of refining experience. Chen Daoran lives in Xianzhen Hall on Yishi Island. As a refiner of the Chen family, he refines magic weapons for some Purple Palace monks in need and accumulates some connections. Chen Qingyun collected some materials and refined several magic weapons according to his needs, including the soul-suppressing bell, the demon binding lock, the 7th Taruai blade and the King's umbrella. The birth of these 4 magic weapons has expanded Chen Qingyun's magic weapon types and can also be used as weapons for the 5 elements puppet. Time flies and the stars change. 2 years later, the secluded Immortal Mansion was about to open. Yuzilin contacted Chen Qingyun early and the two met at the Black Cliff Market to prepare to travel together. Chapter 511 Return to Lingbao Mountain. Participants from the Immortal Palace gather. Since taking the water spirit fruit, Liu Zilin has increased her mana by 9 years. With her efforts over the years, her cultivation has reached a higher level and she has reached the late stage of the Purple Mansion. After a long conversation all night, Liu Zilin shared 3 third-level spiritual talismans with Chen Qingyun. 1 attack talisman, the Purple Woe Divine Fire talisman, and 2 defensive talismans, the Black Tortoise Golden Light talisman. These 3 talismans were all made by Yuzilin herself. The Purple Woe Divine Fire talisman incorporates a trace of the power of Purple Woe water and fire,
and its power is top-notch among talismans of the same level. Liu Zilin also kept 2 black tortoise golden light talismans. Not only that, she originally owed Chen Qingyun 300,000 good deeds. In recent years, Liu Zilin often refined weapons in the Hunyuan Palace to earn good deeds for the sect. The demand for magic weapons by the Purple Mansion cultivators in Lingbao Mountain is increasing day by day, which made Liu Zilin make a lot of money. This time, she gave the Fire Sun Order to Chen Qingyun. This Fire Sun Order originally belonged to Chen Qingyun, and there were a full 300,000 good deeds in it. Chen Qingyun accepted the Fire Sun Order and planned to exchange some resources in Lingbao Mountain in the future. After sharing the equipment, Liu Zilin asked which of the 5 major sects Chen Qingyun wanted to go to for the gathering next. The retreat Immortal Palace was about to open, and it was time to set off. "Go to your Lingbao Mountain." Chen Qingyun thought for a while and said, "My family leader will go with me." After sending a message to Chen Xianming, when everything was ready, 10 days later, the 3 of them went to Lingbao Mountain together. 3 years ago, the cultivators of the 5 major sects, and even the cultivators who participated outside, sent a message in their respective Immortal Palace jade cards, informing them of the gathering place and how to get there. The cultivators of the 5 major sects naturally followed their own cultivators to form a team. For example, Chen Qingyun and Chen Xianming, who are cultivators from families or forces, or independent cultivators, can freely go to any of the 5 major sects and follow them. For this reason, the 5 major sects have set up special reception points, with a giant cultivator in charge of reception, and allow anyone to supervise on the side to prevent people from killing and robbing treasures. Once there is such a bad behavior as killing and robbing treasures, and robbing the jade token of the fairy palace, the 5 major sects will never tolerate it and will kill them on the spot. When Chen Qingyun and the other 2 came to Lingbao Mountain, 16 people had gathered outside the mountain gate. 13 of them were Lingbao Mountain Purple Mansion cultivators. As for the cultivators outside Lingbao Mountain, Chen Qingyun saw 3 of them, 2 of whom were independent cultivators in the middle stage of Purple Mansion, and 1 was a family cultivator at the peak of Purple Mansion. The family cultivator was from the Ling family of Xingyu Islands, named Ling Yuanda, and was the 2nd elder of the Ling family. When Ling Yuanda saw Chen Qingyun here, a smile appeared on his face, and he took the initiative to show a greeting. The Huo family and the Ling family have mutual hatred, which is difficult to resolve. The Huo family was wiped out by the Chen family, and the Ling family certainly knew it. The Ling family took this opportunity to divide more than 300,000 mortals of the Huo family. In the future, they will use their own population base of 1 million to erode and decompose them, and completely integrate them into the family bloodline. The Ling family has shown good feelings for the Chen family of Lingjian Island, especially for Chen Qingyun, and will not take the initiative to provoke him. Now, seeing Chen Qingyun appear here, Ling Yuanda did not come forward to talk to him, nor did he offend him. Obviously, he did not want to make an enemy with Chen Qingyun. Don't hit a smiling person, so Chen Qingyun naturally didn't have to offend the Ling family again and push the family to the forefront. While waiting, facing the Purple Mansion cultivators of Lingbao Mountain, Ling Yuanda and the 2 Purple Mansion casual cultivators chose to stay away from them, and they also developed a sense of vigilance. Just waited for a while. There was a whistling sound of a flying sword in the distance, and a figure flew through the air from the mountain gate, stepping on a purple flying sword, and landed in front of everyone with a heroic posture, revealing a tall and graceful figure, and a strong aura on his body. Chen Qingyun looked carefully and found that the person who came was a giant cultivator, who turned out to be the head of Lingbao Mountain, Qingguang. "It's her." Chen Xianming had a unique vision. Although he had never seen Qingguang in person, he recognized Qingguang at a glance with his eyesight, and couldn't help but secretly sizing her up. Qingguang's aura was not restrained at all. She glanced at everyone present, and when her eyes passed Chen Qingyun, she paused. "Deu, Chen, long time no see. I asked Elder Liu about you a while ago, but Elder Liu didn't mention it much and always thought about you. I was impolite and shouldn't have asked presumptuously." Seeing Chen Qingyun again,
Qin Zixuan looked indifferent and greeted him with a faint smile. She didn't have any airs of superiority at all and seemed approachable. This scene surprised some of the disciples of Lingbao Mountain around. Why did the headmaster, who always had a majestic manner, treat Chen Qingyun like a fellow Taoist? No matter how powerful Chen Qingyun was, he was not a giant and cultivator. Why did the headmaster ask about him? Faced with Qin Zixuan's initiative to greet him, Chen Qingyun's expression froze. He always looked calm and composed. He just smiled and said, "I have come to Lingbao Mountain again after more than 10 years. I came to disturb you today. Don't be surprised, Headmaster Qin." Chen Qingyun already knew what Liu Zilin was asking about. At the beginning, Liu Zilin sent a message to Chen Qingyun as soon as possible. The head of Lingbao Mountain asked about Chen Qingyun's recent situation, whether his cultivation had broken through the golden elixir, and whether he was still active in the sea area around Lingbao Mountain. Liu Zilin's answer was very simple. She shook her head and said she didn't know. She knew Chen Qingyun's whereabouts, but outsiders had no chance to know. When Qin Zixuan and Chen Qingyun greeted him, Chen Xianming looked calm, but he was full of vigilance. Because he was used to being steady, he was really afraid that these Lingbao Mountain monks would collude and snatch the Immortal Palace Jade Plate. However, this idea was obviously over-concerned. After the news was released that those who held the Immortal Palace Jade Plate could gather in Lingbao Mountain, if they killed people and robbed treasures at this time, not to mention ruining the reputation of Lingbao Mountain, the other 4 major sects of Xingzong would not forgive them. Regarding the ownership of the Immortal Palace Jade Plate, the 5 major sects strictly abided by and supervised each other, and absolutely did not allow any unfair actions. Chen Qingyun did not intend to talk more with Qin Zixuan, and began to wait quietly. Qin Zixuan had a sharp eye and guessed the intention of Chen Qingyun's visit this time, but still followed the process and proposed to test the Immortal Palace Jade Plate. Chen Qingyun did not waste words, and he and Chen Xianming took out the Immortal Palace Jade Plate one after another, attracting the attention of many monks around. 2. My goodness! The Chen family of Lingjian Island is so lucky to have 2 Immortal Palace Jade Plates. In the sect, it is not easy for a Purple Palace cultivator to get one, and this is still the case when it can be exchanged, without having to search all over the Starry Sea. In the outside world, Immortal Palace Jade Plates are hard to come by in recent years. How many Purple Palace cultivators are jealous and want to get one? The Chen family. Seeing Chen Xianming and Chen Qingyun each have an Immortal Palace Jade Plate, Ling Yuanda was slightly shocked. Chapter 512 Taoist Qian. A Chen family on Lingjian Island actually has 2 Immortal Palace Jade Tablets. At this time, Ling Yuanda was shocked and said, "Real or false?" Ling Yuanda was even more wary of the Chen family's impression. The Huo family was annihilated, and the 6 members of the Huo family were killed. Zhu Ziheng was also firmly frightened, and he did not dare to take action. Now they have 2 Immortal Mansion Jade Tablets at the same time, with such opportunity and strength. Which other family in the Sea of Stars has this kind of opportunity? It's amazing. The Chen family must not be provoked. Ling Yuanda made up his mind that the Immortal Mansion Jade token could not be fake, so that he would not be unhappy in front of the 5 major sects and bring out counterfeit products. He decided not to offend Chen Qingyun and Chen Xianming in the next experience in the Immortal Mansion. Even Liu Zi should be kept at a respectful distance and should not be provoked, lest Chen Qingyun protect his shortcomings and become a beauty in anger. You have a great opportunity, Dao Chen. I wish you Hunyuan in advance and return home with great success. Qin Zixuan saw the Immortal Mansion Jade card, used her spiritual consciousness to verify its authenticity, and nodded slowly. After being exposed to the present, she vaguely felt that Chen Qingyun was very different from before, and his every move had the aura of a golden elixir monk. She has practiced a spiritual lie that originated from ancient times. She can see through the disguise of demons, see through the monk's hidden aura fluctuations, and discern the monk's true cultivation level. At this time, Chen Qingyun's body was very different from before. It didn't look like the aura that a Zaifu monk could possess,
which made her secretly pay attention. "Thank you for your kind words from the head of kin." Chen Qingyun responded calmly and smiled. According to the realm, in fact, Qin Zixuan can be called a peer. However, taking into account the sophistication of people, Qin Zixuan is the leader of a faction, and he needs to conceal his strength in the Golden Core stage, so for the time being, he will call him the leader of Qin. It is not necessarily a good thing to reveal the strength of the Golden Elixir stage in Lingbao Mountain too early. When it is time to hide, you still have to hide it. It's strange that the Golden Elixir has not yet formed in his body, so why does he not show the aura of a monk from the Zaifu? Is it true that the Golden Elixir has not been condensed? Thinking back to the time when he formed the elixir, he would not succeed in seclusion silently, but would attract huge visions of heaven and earth and attract the attention of monks from all over. If Chen Qingyun goes into seclusion to form alchemy in the near future, it is impossible that Lingbao Mountain will not receive any news or even the slightest disturbance caused by the strange phenomena in the world. There are not many Golden Core cultivators in the Xinghai. Every one of them is prestigious and powerful. They are noticed by the 5 major sects and recorded in the records. As long as a new person is born, the 5 major sects will share the news and extend an olive branch to win over him. Perhaps I am worrying too much. It is not easy to break through the Golden Elixir stage. Chen Qingyun is afraid it will take more than 10 years. After thinking about it carefully, Qin Zixuan soon gave up the idea. Chen Qingyun may not have formed an elixir, otherwise he would not be stupid enough to come to the Immortal Mansion to experience, and then be excluded by the Immortal Mansion. After waiting for an hour in Lingbao Mountain, monks from the Zaifu began to appear one after another, and Chen Qingyun also saw familiar faces among them. It was expected that Sun Tai and Bailian would participate. Seeing Chen Qingyun appear, Bailian was the first to react and originally wanted to take the initiative to say a few words. Seeing Liu Zilin following Chen Qingyun closely, never leaving, she just smiled and nodded as a greeting. Chen Qingyun also nodded politely in response. When his eyes fell on Sun Tai, he saw Sun Tai's expression was calm and showed no emotion or anger. Facing Chen Qingyun's gaze, Sun Tai looked at each other and quickly looked away, not wanting to pay any attention to it, pretending that he had never seen Chen Qingyun here. Regarding Sun Tai's behavior, Chen Qingyun showed a smile on his lips. If the other party didn't come to greet him, he would naturally not and would not pay attention to it. There are a total of 20 Zaifu monks who came from Lingbao Mountain, and each of them has a great background and is well equipped. As the host, Liu Zilin introduced to Chen Qingyun and Chen Xianmin the strength of the monks participating in Lingbao Shan, their respective origins, and their connections. Most of the Zaifu monks in Lingbao Mountain have complicated relationships and have many followers around them. Some of them seem to only have the strength of the middle Zaifu monks, and they will have the support of Jiandan monks behind them. Among these people, Bailian and Sun Tai are both rising stars, and Chen Qingyun is relatively familiar with them. The most noteworthy person is an old man in his 60s or 70s. His face is expressionless and he looks like he should avoid strangers. He is very unsociable in the crowd. This is a peak cultivator from the Z Mansion, named Qian Guazi, with the Taoist name Qian Daoran. He is the top Z Mansion monk in Lingbao Mountain. During the Star Sex campaign, Taoist Qian was very famous. He once had a remarkable record of killing 6 peak purple monsters by himself, which was a great success. This is a strong man whose strength is close to that of Nangang Yuang, and he is the representative figure of the Zaifu monks in Lingbao Mountain. It is also the sex Tao seed that has the best chance of condensing into the Golden Core stage in the next 10 years. In terms of personality, Gan Tao people are moody and often show a cold face to others. They don't like to make friends and are used to being alone, so they have a somewhat withdrawn personality. While Chen Qingyun was sizing him up, Taoist Qian's eyes met with Chen Qingyun's. There was a flash of sharpness in his eyes, like a dormant ancient ferocious beast, giving people a feeling that he was not easy to deal with. It's not an ordinary Zaifu peak. Chen Qingyun looked directly at each other and firmly remembered Qian Taoist. Chen Qingyun does not need to pay much attention to the rest of the Lingbao Shan monks. During the waiting process,
These Lingbao Mountain Purple Mansion cultivators were in their own camps, and did not gather together to laugh and talk. Only a few, such as Balian and Liu Zilan, would stand together and occasionally talk. There are also camps in the sect, and it is not surprising that there are grudges and estrangements between brothers. About an incense stick of time passed, and when everyone was present, Qin Zixuan, in accordance with the past habit, glanced at the Lingbao Mountain cultivators one by one. The opportunity and fate of this trip to the secluded Immortal Palace will all depend on your chance and luck. When you enter the Immortal Palace, as fellow disciples, I hope you can help each other and overcome difficulties together, and don't let down the prestige of my Lingbao Mountain in front of outsiders. After saying that, Qin Zixuan said no more and called a giant and cultivator to appear as a guide. This giant and cultivator was named Gong Yufeng, the second elder of Lingbao Mountain, and also served as the master of the law enforcement hall. Gong Yufeng's cultivation has reached the middle stage of the golden elixir. He looks like an old man with white hair and a youthful face. Because he is upright, Gong Yufeng is highly respected in Lingbao Mountain and is respected by his disciples. Gong Yufeng glanced at everyone, then waved his sleeves, and a huge flying boat flew from the sect and quickly flew to his side, hanging in the air less than 10 meters above the ground. Everyone, the auspicious time has arrived, let's set off quickly. Gong Yufeng greeted lightly and took the lead in flying on the flying boat. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 513, Glazed Sea, Four Sides Confronted. Chen Qingyun took a look at the flying boat and found that it was of the third grade upper grade, equipped with 3 sets of flying formations. At first glance, the whole flying boat was huge and solid, as if it had rolled out from the long river of history, full of majesty. This was the Purple Light escape boat of Lingbao Mountain. It looked clumsy and huge. If it was really driven at full speed, it could travel about 70,000 miles a day. This flying boat could also cruise automatically, absorbing the wind power in the air into energy, and then controlled by a medium-grade spirit stone, which could reach a cruising time of about 1 month. Everyone did not delay anymore and each made some moves. Among them, the old cultivators who had already participated in a trip to the Immortal Palace, such as Taoist Qiyong, boarded the flying boat with ease, sat cross-legged in a corner, and began to close their eyes and rest. Liu Zilan invited Chen Qingyun to board the flying boat together. Balian, Sun Tai and others followed closely behind. With all the members present, the Purple Light Sky escape boat slowly accelerated, and soon reached its maximum speed with a huge whistling sound of breaking through the air. In the sea below, the island scene quickly retreated, and the vast alien sea scene quickly flowed in the side. The windproof and soundproof formations outside the flying boat completely isolated the strong wind and the friction sound of high-speed flight. After flying for half a month, the flying boat arrived at a vast sea area. The water in this sea area is colorful, like a mixture of gorgeous mottled pigments, forming this special sea area, which is particularly beautiful when viewed from the air. Lapis Lazuli Sea. Chen Qingyun recognized where this was at a glance. He had reached the edge of the alien sea. Along the Lianlai Sea, 36 or 37,000 miles to the east, it was the King Liu Sea. When he arrived here, Chen Qingyun found that there were already 2 flying boats suspended in the sea, waiting here. With a little attention, he could recognize from the style of the flying boat and the words on the sail that it was the Hunyuan Island and Chonglu side. According to the discussion of the 5 major sects, they will first gather in this Lianlai Sea, and then fly out of the alien sea together to the Wanyao Sea. On the flying boats of Hunyuan Island and Chonglu, there is also a giant and cultivator leading the team. What was beyond Chen Qingyun's expectation was that the 3 major sects gathered here at this time, less than 100 meters apart from each other, but did not greet each other. Instead, the flying boats quietly hovered over the sea, and did not greet each other. This situation is like the 3 parties do not know each other, pretending to be strangers and not interfering with each other.
The calm before the storm is really not a game of house. Chen Qingyun murmured to himself, looking forward to this trip to the Immortal Palace, and he was already excited in his heart. Just from the situation of the three major sects of Hunyuan Island, Chonglu, and Lingbao Mountain gathering and showing up now, there is already a kind of unyielding and scrambling. The three flying boats formed a triangular formation, which was quite like a three-legged formation. If the relationship is good, or out of cooperation, they will naturally greet each other politely, and there will be gifts for meeting, so as not to pretend not to know each other. But the current situation, has the grievances between the five major sects developed to this point? It was so quiet that it was scary. Just waited for a while, and soon, the sound of breaking through the air came from afar. A silver flying boat came across the sea and slowly hovered not far from the purple light escape boat. It was of the same size, beautiful shape, and smooth lines, much more exquisite than the flying boat of Lingbao Mountain. It was the flying boat of Yaoang Mountain. The same situation occurred. The arrival of the monks of Yaoang Mountain did not break the tranquility here. Yaoang Mountain also did not intend to greet the monks of Lingbao Mountain, Hunyuan Island, and Chonglu, but just concentrated on hovering above this Sea. The four major sects have gathered. Next, they will wait for the arrival of Xingzong. The four major sects are waiting quietly in tacit understanding. The four giant and cultivators all closed their eyes and rested, not saying a word, and it seemed that they had no intention of talking. After waiting for an hour, there were waves on the sea in the distance, and ripples extended from the sea, spreading to both sides. Everyone looked in the direction of the sound, and saw a majestic and domineering large flying boat full of metallic luster flying through the air. Its size far exceeded that of the flying boats of the four major sects. It was like a prehistoric beast speeding on the sea, setting off rolling waves. As soon as the flying boat of Xingzong appeared, it immediately attracted everyone's attention. On the flying boat, a white-haired old man stood with his hands behind his back, with divine light surging in his eyes, and his whole body exuded a sharp aura that penetrated the sky and the earth, which was particularly eye-catching. Ancestor Liang. Chen Qingyun recognized the origin of the old man from Xingzong. It was Ancestor Liang, who had not been seen for many years, and his style was still as good as before. Ancestor Zhu is here too. Bei Lian's voice sounded nearby. After hearing Chen Qingyun's muttering, her beautiful eyes also looked around the Xingzong flying boat and saw the Loki Ancestor Zhu behind Ancestor Liang. In the Xinghai, the two ancestors Zhu and Liang of the Xingzong are very famous and admired by many cultivators. Although these two ancestors are not brothers and have no blood relationship, they are from the same school and are as close as brothers. As long as one of them appears somewhere outside the Xingzong, the other will appear not far away. After seeing Ancestor Liang, everyone soon saw the gentle, elegant, and graceful Ancestor Zhu on the flying boat. Comparing the two, both of them are in the late giant stage. One is majestic and domineering, and the other is elegant and easygoing. They belong to two extremes. When the Xingzong people arrived, they arrived almost at the same time. On the four flying boats of Hunyuan Island, Chonglu, Lingbao Mountain and Yaoang Mountain, the four giant and cultivators of Gong Yufan made moves at the same time, flew out of the flying boats, greeted the two ancestors Zhu and Liang, and bowed their hands to respectfully address them as seniors. The originally calm atmosphere was broken by the arrival of the two ancestors Zhu and Liang. All are here. In response to the greeting, the ancestor Liang just nodded lightly and glanced at the cultivators brought by the four major sects. The ancestor Zhu said nothing. His eyes fell straight on the flying boat of Lingbao Mountain, looking at the position where Chen Qingyun was. He Liao, were not so patient before, hiding in the flying boat without showing up, and didn't even say a word when you saw me. How come you finally dare to speak now? After greeting the two ancestors Zhu and Liang, the giant and cultivator surnamed Drew from Hunyuan Island couldn't sit still at this time, and joked. His eyes fell on the giant and cultivator He Liao of Chonglu. Without any taboos. Taoist he glanced at Ruhesheng, also with a bad look, and responded with a cold snort, HMPH, you are old, And you want to hide there as a bride? Do you want me to ask you to come out and say hello? I don't need your greetings, why waste your breath? As soon as the two giant and cultivators opened their mouths, the atmosphere began to feel a little strange. So much so that all the Purple Mansion cultivators on the 5 flying boats of Xingzhou, Wuan Island, etc. could sense that there were two powerful forces confronting each other, and they were going to have a good fight. Chapter 514, Sea of 10,000 Monsters. You two are hundreds of years old, why bother arguing here? Isn't this a joke for these juniors? It's too inappropriate. With 2 bangs, Grandma Wu Su, the golden elixir monk from Yaoang Mountain, stepped forward with her crutches. She tapped her crutches twice to smooth over the accusations. When we get to the abyss of the Boundary Sea, there will be plenty of time for you to put all your strength into a good fight. It's better to save some energy for now. Grandma Wu Su eased the atmosphere, started internal strife and quarreled with each other here, which was noticed by all the monks of the 5 sects, and it would inevitably lose the prestige of the golden elixir monk stud if we really get into a fight over a disagreement. Do we still need to participate in this immortal mansion experience? He Lao calmed down his expression, his eyes fell on Granny Wu Ziyu, and he pointed with a smile. What kind of wind is blowing today? It has brought you an old antique. Here, we haven't seen each other for more than 100 years. Why are we willing to take a breather and take our children around here this time? When Granny Wu Ziyu heard this, she rolled her eyes at He Lao and did not answer. When Naru and Sheng saw Granny Wu Ziyu coming forward, a look of fear flashed across their faces. They simply walked down the steps, turned around, stopped talking, and ignored He Lao. Seeing that the conflict was resolved in time, Granny Wu Ziyu smiled, showing an old god's presence, and immediately changed the subject. This time, there are many descendants of the Purple Mansion gathered together. I don't know which descendant will come out on top in the end and step into the ring of clouds first. As soon as these words came out, both He Lao and Ru Jiandan turned their eyes and looked among the Zaifu monks in Xingzhou, and soon fell on a middle-aged man in a robe as bright and fiery as fire. This person is particularly eye-catching among the Xingzhou Zaifu, forming a camp of his own. Within 10 meters of the surrounding area, no Zaifu monk came close to him. It was the famous Nangang Yuang who was known as the #1 Zaifu in the Xinghai. Among the 5 major sects, the Xing sect's Zaifu monks have the strongest overall strength, and the most prominent one is naturally Nangang Yuang, followed by Bai Yining, Sun Zongxian, and Su Yan. During the last trip to the Immortal Mansion, Nangang Yuang was the first person to set foot on the ring Yuan layer. As for the core of the Immortal Mansion in the center, Nangang Yuang only glanced at it from a distance and had no ability to step into it. This time I participate again, probably to break the record and go to the core area of the Immortal Mansion. Jindan, surnamed Drew, smiled, looked at He Lao, and suggested, just to have some fun, let's take a gamble. He Lao, the heaven and earth 2-year ring you recently refined looks good to me. It has won my heart. How about taking it as a bet? That's exactly what I meant. He Lao pondered, flicked his sleeves without flinching and said, am I still afraid of you? From beginning to end, only Gong Yufeng from Lingbao Mountain talked the least. After saying hello to the 2 ancestors Zhu and Liang, he returned to the purple light escape boat, as if he was out of the crowd. Only when he looked at Granny Wu Su, there was an indescribable meaning in his eyes. Several Jiandan monks exchanged a few words, and after a while, Patriarch Liang gave an order and led everyone to set off. Led by the Star Sect flying boat, the 5 flying boats broke through the air and quickly disappeared into the sky. After the powerful aura that originally occupied the sea area dissipated, the monster beasts in the sea dared to appear. They didn't know what the human race was doing and just continued to hunt and eat. This was the first time that Chen Qingyun left the Star Sea. After flying in the flying boat group for 3 days,
he began to enter the Sea of 10,000 Demons. Perhaps it was because he had heard too many rumors about the dangerous, mysterious and strange Sea of 10,000 Demons. Or maybe he has lived in the Sea of Stars for too long and developed nervousness when he first arrived in a strange environment. Not only Chen Qingyun, Liu Zilin, Chen Xianming, Sun Tai. Even the three golden elixirs surnamed Drew, He Dao, and Granny Wusu looked wary, following the steps of Patriarch Liang and speeding up the speed of the flying boat. Chen Qingyun looked down and saw that the sea below was retreating rapidly, and the traces of the islands were no longer visible. The first time he saw the Sea of 10,000 Demons, Chen Qingyun had only one feeling, and that was the sea. Endless ocean as far as the eye can see, not even an island visible. When he first entered the Sea of 10,000 Demons and saw almost no trace of islands, Chen Qingyun thought it was because of the region. There were very few islands in this area. After all, areas with many seas and few islands are particularly common in the Star Sea. But as the flying boat continued to travel for several hours, Chen Qingyun finally realized that he still took it too naturally. After the flying boat team left the Star Sea, they traveled at full speed for a day. During this period, not a single shadow of a large island was seen. Some are just micro-islands that occupy a very small area, or just a few of them, dotted like sesame dots on the blue sea. It is impossible to say that some medium and large islands were not seen because of the speed of the flying boat. With the eyesight of the Zaifu monks, it is naturally impossible. The island resources in the Sea of 10,000 Monsters are so scarce, no wonder it is rumored that the Sea of 10,000 Monsters is extremely dangerous. Even the Golden Core cultivators dare not set foot there easily. Let's not talk about the number and strength of the monsters in this sea area. Judging from the huge sea area alone, there is no spiritual island as a foothold to rest, replenish mana, and keep flying on the vast sea. Soon, we will be able to run out of mana. Not to mention encountering attacks from various factors such as monster beasts, bandit cultivators, demon cultivators, and natural winds. Everything is full of unknowns. Chen Qingyun looked down at the 10,000 monsters sea below and realized that compared with the Star Sea, the 10,000 monsters sea was indeed not a place that ordinary cultivators could set foot on. At this moment, not only Chen Qingyun, but also the cultivators who had just entered the 10,000 monsters sea also discovered this. When they were surprised, they did not hide the solemnity on their faces. Whether the 10,000 monsters sea was dangerous or not could be seen from the solemn expression of his own giant and ancestor. After continuing to travel for an incense stick of time, the flying boat group was attacked by a giant and monster king. It was a huge tentacle emerging from the sea and sweeping over at a rapid speed. Before the full appearance of the monster was seen, one tentacle had a strong breath and was nearly 100 feet in size, which had already changed the color of most purple mansion cultivators. However, in front of the 6 giant cultivators, this was just a small fight. Ancestor Zhu's expression turned cold, and his temperament changed, revealing a sharp show. A golden sword light fell from his hand and cut off the monster's tentacle in one fell swoop. How strong is Patriarch Zhu? Chen Qingyun had witnessed it with his own eyes during the Xingzong campaign. He was a fierce character who killed Bishuis and Shanhu with one sword. With this sword, the sword light swept across the world, illuminating the sea area, and fell from the sky. With just one sword, the huge tentacle that soared into the sky was cut open by a sword, and a large amount of blood rain fell. Patriarch Zhu's aura was not reduced, and golden light surged in his eyes, overlooking a huge black shadow in the sea. The size of this monster black shadow was already comparable to the purple light escape boat, which made people feel giant fear. Chapter 515 Jizhen. Ancestor Liang, Taoist he from Wuan Island, Granny Wusu and other giant cultivators saw Ancestor Zhu take action and showed their bodies, ready to help at any time. However, this mysterious monster has already opened its spiritual intelligence. After the initial contact, it realized that it was not an opponent and would become prey instead, so it immediately had the intention to retreat. Without the need for the other 5 giant to take action, Ancestor Zhu scared away the mysterious monster in the sea alone,
and dived into the deep sea in panic and disappeared. After that, the group did not encounter any monsters again. They flew for a total of 2 days and finally stopped in a sea area. The surroundings were still the boundless sea, which could not be seen at a glance. Being in it, I felt extremely small, as tiny as dust. Guessing that the destination had been reached, but there was no trace of the fairy house. Chen Qingyun and others watched carefully and waited patiently. "We're here, ancestor," Liang called out, which made many people even more curious. How would this secluded immortal palace appear? It was said to be in the clouds. But where are the clouds? In the sea? That's impossible. Otherwise, why is it called the Immortal Gate in the clouds, not the Immortal Gate in the sea? According to the instructions issued by the 6 golden elixir cultivators, the flying boats all landed in the sea, waiting for the secluded immortal palace to appear. During the few days of waiting, the cultivators of the 5 sects, and even all the outside cultivators who obtained the jade cards of the immortal palace, appeared one by one and came out of their private rooms. Some of them communicated with each other and exchanged treasures. Some observed the surrounding scenery and explored the environment. More people paid attention to other participants, who were there, so as to know themselves and the enemy and be on guard in advance. For example, they wanted to find out the specific information of the secluded immortal palace, which areas inside could not be visited, and what crises would appear. This was something Chen Qingyun originally wanted to inquire about. But everyone seemed to have a tacit understanding, not saying a word about the information they had, fearing that others would know. It was like setting a trap for other participants in advance. In short, if no one revealed it, why would they help competitors? It would be good if they didn't mislead it. And there must be some exceptions, who would be willing to take the initiative to share the information they had with people around them. For example, Liu Zilin, she revealed the information she had to Chen Qingyun, making up for some of Chen Qingyun's incomplete knowledge. According to what Liu Zilin said, the basic information of the Immortal Mansion, the 5 major areas, and the 2 forbidden areas were mentioned, and Chen Qingyun also had a deeper understanding. In addition, there is another point to note, that is, after entering the seclusion Immortal Mansion, you will be randomly teleported to various areas outside the Immortal Mansion by the power of the formation set up by the Star Sect. Occasionally, some people who are lucky enough will be directly and randomly teleported to the 5 elements spirit realm. Because of this, if you want to enter the Immortal Mansion together and then act together, you have to rely on each other to find a way to meet up. After getting more information from Liu Zilin, Chen Qingyun felt his blood boiling, and the desire that had been dormant in his heart suddenly awakened. Fighting against monsters and cultivators, you can compete openly, robbing from the front and attacking from behind. Even setting traps and killings can be done at will, without any constraints, and there is no need to worry about the investigation of the 5 major sects. You can be bold and shed blood. After staying in such a dangerous and unpredictable place for 3 years and experiencing all kinds of dangers, Chen Qingyun should have avoided it at the first time. But he is about to face the most cruel side of the jungle in the world of immortal cultivation, and he doesn't know how many fights he will experience. Chen Qingyun not only has no fear or timidity in his heart, but he is more and more looking forward to it, and even a little excited. Those who can survive in such a dangerous environment are naturally the elite among the elites. After observing for a few days, the few who have participated in the training of the Immortal Palace, such as Nangang Yuang, Zhu Ziheng, and Bai Yining, rarely show up most of the time. Chen Qingyun was participating for the first time, so he would naturally pay attention to who was coming. The 5 sex cultivators were all wearing their own specific costumes, which were easy to identify. There were a total of 19 outside cultivators, which meant that there was a fairy jade token that had no taker. Or, in other words, the holder did not come to participate for some reason. Among these people, Chen Qingyun actually found 3 familiar faces. Link's Eye. Since the last time we parted, I didn't kill this witch, and I didn't expect to see her again here today. I had fought with this woman a lot during the trip to the cave. Finally, after leaving the cave and fighting on the island, I killed Zhuo Ziangwan and Taoist Huiyu one after another, and Chen Qingyun wanted to get rid of her again. But I didn't expect this woman to act decisively and actually use the talisman to escape, and she really let her escape, only letting Chen Qingyun tear off a dress, causing the other party to scream. Seeing Ling Sai again at this time, even if I didn't use my spiritual sense to explore, I didn't need to think about it, and the other party was at least in the early stage of the Purple Mansion. Being able to open up the Purple Mansion in these years, and being the daughter of the island master of the Magic Island, she must have had some adventures and must have a lot of cards in her hands. When Chen Qingyun secretly kept Ling Sai in his heart, Ling Sai also noticed Chen Qingyun. When the two looked at each other, Chen Qingyun seemed to smile, but his expression was normal. Ling Sai's pretty face changed, and she immediately turned her head away with a look of clenching her silver teeth, as if she was going to hide aside and grit her teeth secretly. If it weren't for the 6 great golden elixirs that deterred everyone from taking action here, otherwise this witch would have probably avoided it far away, and would not dare to set foot within 100 miles of Chen Qingyun. In addition to Ling Sai, there are 2 familiar faces, both of whom were seen at the exchange meeting on Hunyuan Island that year. One is Sun Zongxian, and the other is Hong Ritalis. Chen Qingyun will not underestimate these 2 people either, and will remember them silently. At the same time, when Chen Qingyun appeared, Zhu Ziheng saw Chen Qingyun appear on the flying boat of Hunyuan Island, frowned tightly, and a fear suddenly emerged in his heart. He naturally knew the grievances between Chen Qingyun and the Huo family. At the beginning, he ignored Huo Linglai's request for help and ignored the Huo family. The defeat of Huo Xinglong and other Purple Mansion cultivators all proved that Chen Qingyun had extraordinary means and was a powerful opponent. Compared with Chen Qingyun, Sun Tai's eyes fell on Nangong Yuang from time to time, paying attention to his every move, and the overwhelming hatred grew in his heart, becoming more and more intense. With the status of an elder, Liu Zilin had already mastered the list of participants from the other 4 sects. There are 5 outstanding representatives in these 5 major sects, and they need to be guarded against. It is best not to confront them. On the Xingzong side, Nangong Yuang is the representative, and there is no objection to this. On the Hunyuan Island side, Zhu Ziheng is the leader, and the camp should not be underestimated. There are still 3 Purple Mansion peak cultivators. The leader of Yaoang Mountain is a purple-clothed woman, whose appearance is no less than Ling Sai. The whole person exudes a temperament that is out of this world and not in the world, and exudes a strange and fragrant turbulent aroma. This woman is called Jizhen, and her cultivation has reached the peak of the Purple Mansion for more than 100 years. According to her qualifications, she had the opportunity to reach the Golden Elixir stage more than 20 years ago. Chapter 516, Immortal Gate in the Clouds. It is said that the reason why Jizhen did not form an elixir was because she practiced the secret method inherited from Yaoang Mountain and deliberately slowed down the progress of forming an elixir. Otherwise, with her qualifications, she would have advanced to the Golden Elixir Avenue long ago and escaped the category of a monk in the Zaifu. In terms of strength, Jizhen is not much inferior to Nangong Yuang, and her combat power exceeds Zhu Ziheng and Qian Talis. Her background is even more remarkable. She is the only child of a giant and couple in Yaoang Mountain. She has been the favorite since she was a child and has never lacked resources for cultivation. With her background and qualifications, you can imagine what an incredible and proud woman she is. It is not unreasonable to say that he is arrogant, cool and conceited. Seeing Jizhen appearing here, many people from Hunyuan Island, Lingbao Mountain, and Chonglu were paying attention to this proud woman. Jizhen, isn't she able to form elixirs on her own? Why did she come to participate in this experience and compete with us for the opportunity? This woman is a top Zaifu cultivator. She is not easy to deal with at all. The competition is huge now. Some casual cultivators lamented that they were very afraid of Jizhen. Nangong Yuang was so powerful that he excluded everyone from the competition and was not considered a competitor at all. Whatever resources the other party likes, they can only give them away. Once there is a slight sign of a fight, he will choose to retreat as soon as possible and not fight with Nangong hopeless. As for Jizhen, she is still within the range where she can try to fight, It is no wonder that some people are afraid of her and lament that she has also come to participate in the experience of the immortal mansion. Liu Zilin introduced Jizun carefully and warned Chen Qingyun that this woman was not as simple as she seemed on the surface. Look at the peerless appearance, not stained by smoke and dust. In fact, when he takes action, his methods are decisive and ruthless, and he will not show mercy to women. Most of the monks who didn't know Jizun were just looking at beautiful women. From time to time, I secretly taunted, what good results can come from such a beautiful woman coming to participate in the immortal mansion experience? Yaohang Mountain is a bunch of medicine jars and vases. If you are refining elixirs, you should think that the immortal palace is your own back garden. Noticing the behavior of some casual cultivators around him, he mocked Jizun. He did not understand the other party's situation, and was arrogant, ignorant and self-righteous. Chen Qingyun sneered in his heart, with this mentality, what kind of expression would he have when he experiences Jizun's strength? He might not even have a chance to escape an embarrassment. In addition to Nangang Yuang, who has been tacitly accepted not to compete, there is also a strong man on the same level as Zhu Ziheng, Qian Taoist, and Jizun over at Chonglu. This person's name is Han Wu, and he is a peak cultivator from the Zaifu who knows the art of witchcraft. His methods are strange and powerful, and full of mystery. Han Wu stood alone on the Chonglu flying boat and also received a lot of attention. During this trip to the immortal mansion, everyone has their own opponents. Some are afraid of them, some are avoiding their sharp edges, or some are secretly thinking of ways to kill them. Even before everyone entered the immortal mansion, there was already a tit-for-tat trend. Whether it is Nangang Yuang, Sun Tai, or Ling Sai, Taoist Hongrai. Chen Qingyun adheres to the principle that if the other party does not provoke him, he will not take the initiative to provoke him. If you don't know how to appreciate others and insist on confrontation and finding trouble, then you can only destroy them. During the next waiting period, apart from the fact that the star sect is superior, there is no need for tit-for-tat confrontation with the other four sects. As strong as Zhu Ziheng, Han Wu, Qian Daoran, and Jizun, they realized early that they could not bury their own prestige and let others laugh. So each stood at the front of his own sect, acting as a representative of strength to intimidate his opponents. The escape world immortal mansion has not yet fully appeared, and the participants here have already begun to have their own signs. They have a tendency to compete and advance. First of all, they cannot lose in terms of momentum. Chen Qingyun was paying attention to this invisible battle without bloodshed, and had no intention of participating in it. Not to mention cooperating with one of the monks. In terms of teammates, Liu Zilin and Chen Xianming are enough on our side. It can even be said that as long as there are enough interests to attract them, such as Sun Tai, Ling Zai, and Nangang Yuang, Chen Qingyun can kill them without mercy and will not show mercy. After waiting for half a month, everyone rarely talked to each other. Most of the time, he is checking equipment, wiping weapons and magic weapons, and maintaining his cultivation at its peak state. On this day, in the sky not far away, clouds began to appear out of thin air, converging into a vast area of white clouds, as if the sky had sunk a certain distance. The escape world immortal mansion has begun to appear and can be vaguely seen, but it is not possible to enter it at this time. Even nascent soul cultivators cannot log in. They can only wait until the time comes and the immortal mansion is fully visible before they can set foot there. Chen Qingyun unfolded his spiritual consciousness and wanted to explore the clouds. He found that the clouds looked not far away, but his spiritual consciousness could not reach them. There was always such a distance between them. There are many monks like Chen Qingyun who use their spiritual consciousness to explore the clouds these days, but in the end they can only let it go. For example, even Jinan monks like Zhu and Liang couldn't touch the clouds with their spiritual consciousness, let alone them. The escaped immortal mansion can isolate the exploration of spiritual consciousness and is more powerful than the Black Turtle Cave mansion. Even the spiritual consciousness of Yuanying monks has no effect. On the 10th day, the cloud scene finally materialized, took shape completely, and became extremely real, presenting itself as a magnificent scene of layer upon layer of white clouds covering a huge area. In the vast cloud layer, A huge white palace gate appeared faintly, standing there majestically, becoming the only unique scenery in the cloud layer. At this moment, if you use your spiritual sense to explore, you still can't touch it. No matter how you try to touch it, it is just a distance away, and you can't touch it for a lifetime. Chen Qingyun and Chen Xianmin couldn't help but wonder in their hearts, if even the spiritual sense can't touch the cloud layer, how can you land on it and enter the fairy mansion? Could it be that this secluded fairy mansion really escaped from this world? The fairy gate in the cloud has appeared, and the time has come. The silent ancestor Liang spoke loudly at this time, inviting all participants to set off for the fairy mansion. Everyone, bring your respective fairy mansion jade cards, please. The ancestor Liang's eyes swept over the faces of everyone one by one, and when he saw Chen Qingyun, his eyes paused slightly. With these words from Patriarch Liang, all the Xingzong cultivators, led by Nangong Yuang, began to fly into the air and head towards the clouds. The cultivators from the other four major sects did the same, knowing that time was precious and that they would have an advantage if they entered the Immortal Palace first, so they followed closely. Only Chen Qingyun, Chen Xianming, and Taoist Hongrai, the family cultivators who participated for the first time, and the independent cultivators looked at each other, and quickly reacted and flew towards the clouds. Chapter 517, Secretly Following and Entering the Immortal Palace. The role of the Immortal Mansion jade card here is probably the key. Liu Zilin did not follow her fellow disciples, but accompanied Chen Qingyun, following him like a shadow. If Chen Xianmin wanted to go, he could only act as a light bulb. The three of them quickly approached the cloud layer, which was different from the divine consciousness that could never resist. As the cloud layer gradually enlarged in the sight, it proved that it was possible to approach it by flying, and even land on the cloud layer. Chen Qingyun looked closely, but could not see the specific scene in the cloud layer, but could only see that the cloud fairy gate became clearer, more magnificent and larger. The first glance at Chen Qingyun gave him a sense of déjà vu of looking up at the South Heaven Gate, solemn and majestic. When Chen Qingyun approached the cloud fairy gate, on the distant Xingzong flying boat, the eyes of the two ancestors Zhu and Liang followed Chen Qingyun closely. The old ancestor Zhu, who had always been seldom speaking, looked at Chen Qingyun at this time with a bit of curiosity in his eyes, as if he was expecting something. In my opinion, Chen Qingyun does not have the ability to incarnate the five elements in the Golden Core realm. Perhaps our expectations of him are still a bit too high. Noticing the strangeness on Patriarch Zhu's face, Patriarch Liang spoke in a voice transmission and started a secret conversation. Thinking of the five elements puppet that Chen Qingyun had displayed in the previous battles of the Qing sect, Patriarch Zhu was quite emotional. After more than 150 years, I finally met a Xinghai cultivator from the five elements sect again. Although this boy was born in the small Chen family on Linjian Island and his background is as insignificant as dust, his chances are not ambiguous at all. To be able to cultivate a five-element external incarnation of the Purple Mansion period, this is already as good as you and I when we were young, which is really rare. Hehe, what you said is indeed undeniable. Ancestor Liang said, when you and I cultivated the external incarnation of the Purple Mansion period, we were much older than Chen Qingyun, at least more than 150 years old, so compared with the progress of cultivation, we are not as good as Chen Qingyun. Ancestor Liang recalled the past, and felt a little sad. It seems that there is a will of heaven. Chen Qingyun was born and raised in this Xinghai cultivation world, but he was able to obtain the skills of our five elements sect. This is enough to show that he has a good opportunity. He may have met a fellow Taoist from our five elements sect and was taught personally, or he was lucky enough to get this opportunity in the ruins of a fellow disciple's cave. About Chen Qingyun practicing the two skills of five elements puppetry and five elements body incarnation. In fact, when the Xingzong was fighting, the two ancestors Zhu and Liang had secretly paid attention to the five elements puppetry when they first saw it. Until later, They continued to secretly investigate the Chen family of Lingjian Island and Chen Qingyun for a period of time. It was finally confirmed that Chen Qingyun also practiced the skills of the Five Elements sect. However, where this skill came from is an unsolved mystery for them. But the origin of the skill is actually not important, nor is it a secret. So they did not capture Chen Qingyun to find out the truth. As monks of the Wanjiantu who lived and practiced in the Five Elements sect in the early days, the two ancestors Zhu and Liang joined the Qing sect with the initial giant in cultivation when they set foot in the Qing Sea. In terms of origin, neither of them was a Qing Sea monk, but an Outer Sea monk. Recalling the various things in the sect, the ancestor Zhu smiled faintly. The Five Elements sect has been destroyed, so it's a good thing to leave some flames of inheritance. What I'm most looking forward to now is to see how fast this boy will rise in the next 100 years, whether he can really build a foundation for the Tao with the Five Elements external incarnations and successfully condense the Five Elements nascent soul. Patriot Liang heard this and asked in a pessimistic tone, "Wait for him to form a nascent soul, will there be such a chance?" "I don't think so." "How? Do we know if we don't try? Are we always stuck in the golden core stage and never able to make further progress? Now, there is finally such a rising star, maybe he will be our guide." Speaking of this, Patriarch Zhu's mind emerged with several huge figures that stood tall and majestic in the 10,000 monsters sea, and a bit of fear emerged in his heart. Calculating the time, the star sea is about to be in chaos. I'm afraid we can't wait for 100 years. If Chen Qingyun can form a nascent soul earlier, it will be a kind of salvation for you and me. The two finished their conversation and stopped talking. At this time, in the distance, above the clouds, Nangong Yuang took the lead and was the first to pass through the cloud gate. His figure disappeared in the blink of an eye, leaving only a circle of white mist. After him, Sun Zongxian, Bei Yining and others passed through the cloud gate and entered the fairy mansion. Chen Qingyun and others were the same. They entered one after another and disappeared in the clouds. But there are always people who are lucky and want to fish in troubled waters. When a casual cultivator arrived at the cloud gate, he did not cross in, but was bounced out, causing the man's face to flush. Seeing this scene, Patriarch Zhu kindly reminded, "You cannot enter the fairy mansion if you carry items beyond the purple mansion stage." Obviously, the man had treasures above the purple mansion stage, which were detected by the fairy mansion and excluded. The man smiled and touched his head, nodded, and flew back reluctantly, took out a fourth-level talisman from the storage bag, and temporarily handed it to Patriarch Zhu for safekeeping. In this way, when he tried to pass through the Yunzong Immortal Gate again, he successfully entered this time. Chen Qingyun didn't know what the situation was outside. He didn't know that he had been targeted by the ancestors Zhu and Liang, and they would continue to pay secret attention to him for the next 100 years. After Chen Qingyun entered the Immortal Mansion, the scene in front of him changed, and he found himself standing on the land, surrounded by a forest and wilderness. Just as the information he had previously obtained, the secluded Immortal Mansion is not entirely composed of palaces, but also has forests, deserts, mountains, grasslands, etc. This is a miniature world, small but complete. Chen Qingyun's luck is not good, but not bad. At least he was not randomly teleported to a place where other cultivators gathered, so he was not cut into pieces by random knives. In this dense forest, from the naked eye, there is no trace of any cultivator around, even the monsters are gone. Liu Zilin and the old patriarch were also randomly teleported to other different areas, perhaps also in the periphery. If he was luckier, he might have set foot in one of the Five Elements spirit realm. He tried to expand his spiritual consciousness, but after it dispersed, his spiritual consciousness disappeared directly out of thin air, weakened by the power of the Forbidden Law, and had no effect. He tried to use his magic power to lift his body and fly in the air, but he was still restricted and couldn't fly here. Even using the flying feather boat and the wind spirit wings to fly was not possible. After a few attempts, Chen Qingyun put away the flying magic weapon and stepped on the ground honestly. It seems that the spiritual consciousness is indeed imprisoned and the flight is restricted, then I can only rely on my feet. As soon as he stepped into this secluded fairy palace, Chen Qingyun realized that this 3-year experience would not be so easy. Chapter 518 Deterrence of all parties. The entire Immortal Mansion is a no-fly zone. No wonder it is always said that reaching the core area of the Immortal Mansion is the most difficult. Relying on the strength of the cultivators, we can only move forward slowly. During this period, we must beware of attacks from monsters, cultivators, etc. It is indeed a kind of experience. Although I have already mastered the relevant information of the secluded Immortal Mansion, there is a no-fly formation here that restricts the flight of cultivators, but it is always okay to give it a try. After trying to fly in the air, drive a flying boat, and fly magic weapons, all of which were ineffective. Chen Qingyun tried to move forward with the 5-element sky escape to see if he could use his magical powers here and teleport 10,000 miles away. If it is feasible, then going to the core of the Immortal Mansion will have a great advantage. However, as soon as this idea emerged, the magical thing was that the great power transmitted by the surrounding no-fly formations seemed to tell Chen Qingyun that this approach would not work either. It was too whimsical. Since Xingzun used his great magical powers to set up the 2 major formations of no-fly and no-god here, he naturally took all aspects into consideration. It must be the most effective way to limit the movement of the cultivators. Even though Chen Qingyun had some sense, he still tried to perform the 5-element sky escape. He felt a great force sweeping around his body. The effect of performing the 5-element sky escape was not fully exerted. He was firmly suppressed and only moved about 100 meters. The short moving distance consumed mana, which was not worth the loss. Chen Qingyun shook his head helplessly. If there were loopholes to exploit, wouldn't this experience be a mess? Why should it last for 3 years? At this moment, Chen Qingyun had a bottom line in his heart: as long as everyone was the same, it would not be a problem. At least no one could cheat and fly directly to the core area of the Immortal Mansion. They could only rely on their feet and move step by step. For now, this outer area is an appetizer, suitable for warming up. Because it is only open to the public once every 60 years, it has bred a lot of spiritual herbs and medicines, natural materials and treasures. Of course, the monsters are no exception, and they are estimated to have multiplied into groups long ago. The sun was high in the sky. Chen Qingyun used the sun as a reference to identify the direction and began to move directly towards the central area of the Immortal Mansion. In order to save time, avoid being entangled by monsters and delaying the pace, and also to guard against those blind monks who have murderous intentions and ambush and attack, and be ambushed. Chen Qingyun did not take the usual path. At this moment, he released all the aura on his body, showing a strong aura of sweeping across the world. The aura of the peak of the Purple Mansion was like a huge wave at this moment, rushing up to the sky, almost condensing into substance. Chen Qingyun did this at this time. At least he could repel those low-level monsters, and the monks below the peak of the Purple Mansion would not come to make plans. Showing strength in advance is a self-protection and deterrent to external enemies, which can nip the opponent's idea of attacking from the source. Those who are at the same level as Chen Qingyun can't avoid it, so there is only one battle to decide the outcome. Those who can participate in this training are not simple characters, but elites. They all have extraordinary experiences. Chen Qingyun can think of using the aura of cultivation as a deterrent to establish a restricted area in the field and warn outsiders not to enter at will. Similarly, some people have done so. When Chen Qingyun released all his auras and announced his existence in a high-profile manner. In just a moment, he felt that within a radius of 100 miles, there were 5 or 6 auras that continued to rise into the sky, and they were unreserved and revealed their existence. Among these auras, there were 2 peaks of the Purple Mansion, and the rest were late Purple Mansion. Those who were at a lower level decided to play hide-and-seek and hide if they could. Only fools would self-destruct their tracks and attract an ambush. Nangang, Yuang. Chen Qingyun was attracted by the most powerful and easiest to distinguish aura among these auras. The one who released it was Nangang Yuang, who was full of a mighty, domineering, fiery and violent meaning. As soon as this aura appeared, it seemed to eclipse the 5 auras around it. Their auras were reduced, and they subconsciously did not dare to be too ostentatious and show their heads, overshadowing Nangong Yuang's brilliance. Obviously, Nangong Yuang did this mainly to warn the surrounding area not to cross the line, otherwise, don't blame Fijian for being ruthless. As for dividing the territory, it was completely unnecessary, and no one was willing to spend more time on the periphery. At the same time, within a radius of 100 miles, after feeling the powerful aura released by Chen Qingyun, several purple mansion cultivators changed their colors. What, a strong aura! It's Chen Qingyun from the Chen family. Taoist, Hanai's cultivation was also profound, and he had reached the peak of purple mansion for more than 100 years. He immediately identified Chen Qingyun's aura and smiled. Huo Yanshan and Huo Yangxin were probably killed by Chen Qingyun, otherwise, why would the Huo family fight the Chen family and destroy their own family? This boy is very powerful. For the sake of safety, I'd better not provoke him. I'd better avoid him if I can. The Taoist Hongrai was thoughtful. He looked at the direction where Chen Qingyun was from a distance for a few times, and then he flew straight towards the direction of the five elements spirit realm without looking back. Further away, Zhu Ziheng activated a black flying sword and just dealt with 3 second evil monsters that ambushed him. It's him. After sensing Chen Qingyun's overwhelming momentum, Zhu Ziheng's eyes showed a trace of fear. He snorted and continued to move quickly towards a canyon area. In the forest, Sun Tai, who was dressed in the clothes of the Lingbao mountain steward, put a breath-retaining talisman and an invisibility talisman on his body. He also noticed Chen Qingyun's actions and muttered to himself. Chen Qingyun. Chen Qingyun's actions attracted the attention of several people for a while. They all regarded the area where Chen Qingyun was as a restricted area and could not be set foot there, so as not to cause trouble. As the main person, Chen Qingyun declared his existence in this way, and the effect was really in line with expectations. In the following process, there was really no ambush by monsters and monks. After walking for a while, after walking more than 30 miles, Chen Qingyun found that there was a wolf smoke rising in the distance, which did not dissipate for a long time in the sky. The wolf smoke gathered in the air and condensed into a fiery red grass leaf shape, which was the emblem of Yaoang Mountain, which was particularly eye-catching in the air. This is the communication symbol of Yaoang Mountain. The lighting of the wolf smoke is equivalent to summoning the monks of Yaoang Mountain to gather. As a sect cultivator, the advantage is that you can fight as a team first, assist each other to enter the deeper part of the Immortal Palace, and reduce the chance of being eliminated in the outer 5 elements spirit realm. This trip to the Immortal Palace is a battleground for the grudges between the cultivators of the 5 major sects. Similarly, it is also a secret competition among the 5 major sects to see who is more powerful. Chapter 519 Green Vine Grass, Biling Hunting. Xingzong, as the first force in Xinghai, is a high-ranking super overlord that has ruled Xinghai for more than 1,000 years. Naturally, it does not want to fall behind in this competition. For example, Nangong Yuang, Sun Zongxian, and Bei Yining are all elites of the purple mansion of Xingzong. Among them, Bei Yining seems to be the weakest, but in fact, as a 4th-level array master, she carries various killing arrays and trap arrays, and is fully capable of confronting Nangong Yuang head-on. Any of the 3 is not easy to deal with in the eyes of the 4 major sects, or even Chen Qingyun, an outer sect cultivator. For now, the real competition between the 5 major sects is only in the confrontation between teams. There is a tacit understanding among the same sects to retain their strength as much as possible, and then take revenge and grievances after entering the 5 elements spirit realm. No one wants to fight among their own cultivators in the outer area, leaving opportunities to other sects. Even because of internal fighting, the members of the sect were wiped out and the whole army was annihilated. The 5 major sects are now on guard against such a thing. Find partners and gather together. Although Chen Qingyun is not a sect cultivator, he guessed the other party's intention. The one who released the smoke signal is probably the cultivator of Yaoang Mountain. At this moment, he must be doing this to start cooperation with his fellow disciples. If any major opportunity is discovered, They can work together to fight for it. The dangers in the secluded Immortal Palace. In addition to the intrigues between cultivators, there are also powerful and treacherous monsters and unknown creatures. Not very familiar with Yaoang Mountain, and Jizhen, the proud daughter of heaven, needs to be watched out for. Chen Qingyun just took a simple look. Of course he would not throw himself into the trap and send his head to the place where the sect cultivators gathered. Just entered the Immortal Palace. There is still a full 3 years of training period. Obviously, no one wants to fight at this time and let others take advantage of it. To break out a real earth-shaking melee, it has to wait until the last few months. When everyone is full of pots, wouldn't it be more fun to take it all in one pot? Chen Qingyun did not look for teammates at this time, and chose to act alone for the time being. On the third day, he was still attacked by monsters. This was a group of cold-horned rhinos with thick skin and flesh. Perhaps Chen Qingyun had mistakenly entered their territory, or someone deliberately drove them to attack Chen Qingyun to consume and test him. In short, this battle was inevitable. The cold-horned rhinos belonged to ice-attributed monsters, which could release extremely cold temperatures, making the surrounding area below 0 degrees Celsius and freezing plants. There were a total of 16 cold-horned rhinos, the highest of which was in the second level middle grade. Facing Chen Qingyun, it was not a confrontation of the same magnitude at all. Chen Qingyun unfolded the Aurora Blade and chopped the group of cold-horned rhinos into pieces, leaving only 3 to flee in embarrassment. After solving the problem of the cold-horned rhinos, on the next day, Chen Qingyun immediately discovered some spiritual medicines at the first and second levels. When picking these spiritual medicines, there was a spotted blood snake guarding the side of 2 second-level upper-grade green vines. This kind of demon snake was extremely aggressive and would actively hunt human beings. Green vine grass has the function of refining pills, and can participate in the refining of most second-level blood-recovering pills. At the same time, it has another wonderful use, which is to warm the soul of the spirit beast. After squeezing the juice of 2 green vine grasses, it can barely be taken by the 3 spirit beasts, Mo Ling, Bei Ling, and Bai Ling. For such a good thing, how could Chen Qingyun miss it? This spotted blood snake is venomous, and it is not afraid of Chen Qingyun's strength at all. Instead, it regards it as prey and takes the lead in attacking. It opened its mouth and spit out a stream of black and green venom from its mouth, covering Chen Qingyun. Facing this level of monster beast, Chen Qingyun can easily solve it. Chen Qingyun dodged with a flash, and the venom mist, scattered on the ground with a hissing corrosion sound, and a pungent fishy smell rouse. The stone was quickly dissolved and the grass and trees died. Such a powerful corrosive toxin, if a cultivator is infected, he will lose a layer of skin if he does not die. Before Chen Qingyun could kill him and was about to finish him off with the Aurora Blade, there was movement in the Blessed Land Pearl, and Bai Ling was shouting that she wanted to come out to help. The Sky Wind Beast has a restraining effect on snake-like monsters and is their natural enemy. Sensing Bai Ling's thoughts, Chen Qingyun smiled and simply released Bai Ling. Bai Ling's strength at the peak of foundation building was a piece of cake for this spotted blood snake at the late stage of foundation building. Although the spiritual bird monsters do not need to use magic power to fly, they can soar into the sky with wings or their own flying ability. However, the special nature of this secluded Immortal Palace also has a forbidden air suppression effect on spiritual birds. So after Bai Ling flew out of the Blessed Land Pearl, she was restricted from soaring into the sky and could only stand on the ground honestly. Fortunately, even so, Bai Ling relied on her claws to grab and peck with her mouth to firmly suppress the spotted blood snake. In addition, the heavenly wind was used, and the area was instantly turned upside down, turning it into a storm-swept land. Chen Qingyun acted quickly and picked the green vine grass in advance, otherwise it would have been blown away by the heavenly wind. The spotted blood snake, which was more than 10 feet long, had no way to escape, but became prey, and was swept up by the heavenly wind, becoming shaky and dizzy. In just a moment, the demon snake was torn into several pieces by the heavenly wind and became a delicacy in Bai Ling's stomach. Chen Qingyun watched from the side, and waited for Bai Ling to easily kill the spotted blood snake, and got the first harvest. and squeezed out the juice from the two green vines. Chen Qingyun called Mo Ling and Bei Ling together. The three spirit beasts divided the green vine grass equally, and their respective souls were improved by about 20%, which was better than nothing. It's a pity that there are restrictions on the forbidden air formation, otherwise, with Bei Ling and Mo Ling following them, it is not impossible to control the spirit beasts to cross this peripheral area and reach the core of the immortal mansion. Chen Qingyun murmured to himself, and soon realized that even without the restrictions of the forbidden air formation, this would not work. Riding a spiritual beast and flying swaggeringly in the air, isn't this just like becoming a moving target? Before it flies very far, it will be pricked into a hedgehog by various sneak attacks. It's not necessarily a bad thing if you shoot a bird in the head and can't fly in the air. And the next day, when picking other elixirs, the process was also smooth. Experienced monks who have participated in an experience will choose to set up formations around them when picking elixirs to prevent outsiders and monsters from sneak attacks. Chen Qingyun had just arrived. Taking this into consideration, he deployed 4 puppets early to lurk around, paying attention to any movement around him. Even if a fly flies over, it can't be hidden from Chen Qingyun's eyes. After continuing to be active in the outer area for 2 days, Chen Qingyun picked a total of 16 elixirs and met 3 monks on the way. Among these 3 people, 2 are casual cultivators and 1 is a monk from Kirigakure Island. When they sensed Chen Qingyun's aura fluctuations, the 3 of them chose to stay away from him, with no intention of provoking him. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 520 Golden Origin Fruit. You have to pick the soft ones. The soft ones here are not so easy to pick, and everyone is well equipped with the best equipment. If you can't win, the opponent will just throw out 1 or 2 third-level talismans, or more than a dozen first and second-level talismans, and bombard you. According to the map in his mind, if everything goes well, according to the speed of the Purple Mansion cultivators, and occasionally use the escape light, it will take at most 6 days to cross the outer area and reach the 5 elements spirit realm. The entire outer area of the Immortal Mansion, from the edge, is about 500 miles away. Chen Qingyun is less than 300 miles away from the 5 elements spirit realm. After days of running around, some of his mana has been consumed. He is resting under a big tree to recover his mana. Before he can sit still and recover completely, a rustling sound suddenly comes from the dense forest in the distance. Chen Qingyun's expression moves, and his eyes subconsciously look in one direction. There's someone. After being alert for many days, Chen Qingyun had long been accustomed to the slightest movement around him. This time, he paid close attention and found 2 figures rushing over, passing through the dense forest at high speed. The one running in the front, from a distance, was a female cultivator from Hunyuan Island. This woman was sweating profusely, and her face was full of haste as she shouted, "Taoist in front, save me." Seeing Chen Qingyun nearby, the female cultivator from Hunyuan Island seemed to have grabbed a life-saving straw, and she ran towards Chen Qingyun immediately without caring whether it would cause trouble to Chen Qingyun. Originally, she was moving forward peacefully, not causing trouble, and not making enemies. Now that a Taoist fellow was asking for help halfway, it was unclear whether the other party was an enemy or a friend. Chen Qingyun immediately raised his eyebrows, not wanting to get involved, and was about to get up and avoid it. At this time, the figure chasing after the female cultivator appeared behind her, causing Chen Qingyun to stare. Zhuxiantu. After the battle with the Huo family, Chen Qingyun had some understanding of the Huo family's background and interpersonal relationships. Zhuxiantu was the backer of the Huo family, so the Chen family naturally knew about it. When the Huo family was destroyed, Zhuxiantu did not show up, which seemed to confirm that the relationship between the two was not very good. Zhuxiantu was not close to the Huo family to help them, but chose to watch coldly. Chen Qingyun didn't care about these. What's strange now is that they are both monks from Wuan Island, and they should be one family. Why did they start to kill each other in this outer area? Conflict of interest? Treasure competition? Chen Qingyun didn't want to get involved in this muddy water. He quickly looked away and was about to leave this area. Deu, wait for me. Seeing that Chen Qingyun wanted to stay out of the matter and obviously had no intention of intervening, the female monk panicked and hurriedly didn't care about anything, just wanted to save her life. Deu, I have a golden source fruit here, I am willing to give it to you. As soon as the word golden source fruit came out, Chen Qingyun, who originally wanted to stay out of it and not participate in it, paused, and a gleam of light appeared in his eyes. Golden source fruit. If the 5-element spiritual fruit is hard to find, then this golden source fruit is definitely a more rare existence. Only one can help the Purple Mansion cultivator break through the golden elixir stage, which can increase the probability by 10%. This effect is also effective for monsters, helping monsters to quickly break through the realm. Unexpectedly, there is a golden source fruit in the outer area of this fairy mansion. It is hard for Chen Qingyun not to be moved. A golden source fruit tree gathers thousands of essences and countless spiritual charms of heaven and earth. It will only grow a golden source fruit in 100 years. From this, it can be seen how much the value of one can reach. Don't listen to her nonsense. There is no such thing as a golden source fruit, it's just a rhetoric to incite you to take action. The existence of the golden source fruit was exposed, and Zhu Ziheng's murderous intent became stronger. When facing Chen Qingyun, he finally spoke in a low voice, not wanting Chen Qingyun to get involved. This golden source fruit was located in a secluded canyon outside the fairy palace. It was 60 years ago. In the fairy palace of that session, Zhu Ziheng discovered it by chance. But at that time, because the golden source fruit was not ripe, it would take about another 50 years. Zhu Ziheng could only resist picking it. He would have a chance to get it only when the next fairy palace was opened. It was precisely because of this that Zhu Ziheng used the hidden formation to hide this golden source fruit tree and firmly remembered the location in his mind. Wait until the next fairy palace is opened, and then pick this golden source fruit as soon as possible. This golden source fruit is very attractive to veteran Purple Mansion cultivators like Zhu Ziheng, something that can help with the formation of the elixir. Naturally, he would try every means to get it. After waiting for 60 years, he once again invested a lot of money to participate in this Immortal Mansion training. Zhu Ziheng's first goal is naturally this mature golden source fruit. At the moment, the exposure of this golden source fruit is only a moment away. Zhu Ziheng was still thinking about it and warned Chen Qingyun not to intervene. Unexpectedly, Shui Ningzu was decisive. Not only did he lock the area where Chen Qingyun was when he was being chased, but he also bit the bullet and sought help. Now he is even more desperate, not hesitating to expose the existence of the golden source fruit and involve Chen Qingyun in this fight. The murderous intent in Zhu Ziheng's eyes condensed into substance. He raised his hand and hit it, and a flying disc cut Shui Ningzu's snow-white neck. Shui Ningzu only has the cultivation of the middle stage of Purple Mansion, and is no match for Zhu Ziheng at all. She was able to find the golden source fruit purely by luck. When she was randomly teleported, she was lucky enough to land near the golden source fruit tree. After 60 years of ups and downs, the formation that concealed the golden source fruit tree had lost 30% to 40% of its power. After noticing the golden source fruit tree, Shui Ningzu relied on his third-level formation master attainments to easily break the formation and pick the golden source fruit. That is, when picking it, Zhu Ziheng, who came, ran into him, which led to the subsequent fight. Everyone is a Purple Mansion cultivator. In this secluded Immortal Mansion, the power they can exert is at most the peak of the Purple Mansion, and will not reach the golden core stage. How can Zhu Ziheng's means match Shui Ningzu? In the subsequent fight with Zhu Ziheng, Shui Ningzu was really confident. 3 or 4 third-level talismans were cast out, which made Zhu Ziheng a bit difficult. In the end, all the talismans were used up, and it felt a bit like he was at the end of his rope, so he had to run to Chen Qingyun for help. At this moment, Shui Ningzu was able to escape here quickly, not only because of some luck and being close to Chen Qingyun, but also because of the 3 third-level low-grade lightning magic talismans he carried with him. Facing the flying disc attack from behind, Shui Ningzu screamed and quickly dodged, and took out a defensive magic weapon from the storage bag to block in front of him. This defensive magic weapon is a small pocket-sized shield that protects Shui Ningzu's neck. Chapter 521 Yin Fire Thunder. Faced with the strong attack of the flying disc, the small shield cracked after only resisting this one blow, and was destroyed in one blow. Ah, my treasure! The defensive magic weapon was destroyed in one battle, which frightened Shui Ningzu to survive even more, and she couldn't help but scream. She simply moved her body and rushed towards Chen Qingyun. At the same time, her jade hand swept across the storage bag, took out a wooden box and threw it. I don't want the golden source fruit. The appearance of the wooden box instantly attracted the attention of Chen Qingyun and Zhu Ziheng. Bitch! Zhu Ziheng shouted angrily, and changed his attack to the wooden box. He stretched out his hand and grabbed it out of thin air, and exerted a magical power to sweep away. Before he could grab the wooden box in his hand, a flying blade hit the bottom of the wooden box, and the wooden box was lifted high in the air. Then, in a flash, a puppet suddenly emerged from the ground, and a chain blade was like a vine, wrapped around the wooden box. At the critical moment, Chen Qingyun first interfered with Zhu Ziheng with the Aurora Blade, and then communicated with the chain blade puppet underground to take action and seize the wooden box in one fell swoop. Whether there is a golden source fruit in this wooden box is not the time to think about it. Even if Shui Ningzu cheated, she had to get it first. Seeing that Chen Qingyun and Zhu Ziheng had already started fighting, Shui Ningzu's eyes flashed with a cunning intention. She pretended to be pitiful, reluctant, and painful, gritted her teeth, buried her head and fled into the distance. But she was already involved in this vortex of fighting. Could she leave? Chen Qingyun would not do such a stupid thing as leaving a live person and exposing that he might be carrying the golden source fruit. The second chain blade was shot out, and the speed exceeded Shui Ningzu's escape speed. She captured her in an instant and then pulled her back violently. As expected, the scene of this woman being cut by the chain blade did not appear. A bracelet flashed on Shui Ningzu's wrist, and a green light rose from her body, protecting her firmly. The sharp cutting force of the chain blade was firmly resisted by this protective green shield, making a metallic rubbing sound. Body protection magic weapon. After failing to kill Shui Ningzu with one strike, Chen Qingyun simply let the chain blade puppet capture her first and pull her firmly within the combat range. At the same time, Zhu Ziheng wanted to silence her, and turned to attack the chain blade puppet to fight for the wooden box. Realizing that her tricks did not seem to fool Chen Qingyun, Shui Ningzu gritted her teeth secretly and had to cast a spell to break free from the restraints. With a thought, she urged the silver soft sword at her waist, cutting out a sharp edge and slashing towards the chain blade on her body. With a clang, the silver soft sword was bounced away, leaving only a faint white mark on the chain blade. What? Shui Ningzu was surprised to see that the magic weapon of the top grade could not cut the chain blade. At the same time, Zhu Ziheng's attack followed closely, and his sleeves spread out. 3 silk threads extended from the cuffs and accurately wrapped around the wooden box. Because he could not use his spiritual sense, Zhu Ziheng could not be sure whether the wooden box contained the golden source fruit. Even if there was a slight possibility, he had to snatch it. On one side, Shui Ningzu struggled to break free from the chain blade, and on the other side, Zhu Ziheng tried to snatch the wooden box. Facing these two situations at the same time, Chen Qingyun made a prompt decision and directly controlled the Aurora Blade to slash at the wooden box. Whether there was a golden source fruit in the wooden box, Chen Qingyun had already guessed the result from Shui Ningzu's performance. No. The moment the wooden box was cut open, Shui Ningzu's face changed, showing panic, and he screamed subconsciously. Her performance was like she was about to face something extremely terrifying, and she tried her best to dodge to the side, trying to stay away from the wooden box. Chen Qingyun and Zhu Ziheng's eyes were focused at the same time, staring at the cut wooden box. At the same time, Both of them were ready to use their magic power to pull and take the items in the wooden box at any time. The fruit-like item did not appear, but a black bead appeared in an instant. The bead was about the size of a fist and was being activated, emitting black light and releasing the destructive power contained in it. Ah! Accompanied by Shui Ningzu's scream, there was a bang. The black round bead exploded, and a black flame whistled out instantly, rippling a violent shock wave, which acted on Shui Ningzu together, directly blasting the protective light curtain on her body. A small part of the yin fire power that erupted was contaminated on Shui Ningzu, causing her to scream miserably, and her body was ignited by the yin fire. The attack blew up the defense of the magic weapon. This kind of power made Chen Qingyun and Zhu Ziheng change their expressions at the same time, and subconsciously pulled a distance away. Judging from the yin fire, Zhu Ziheng recognized it at first sight and said coldly, "Yin, fire, thunder, what a plan." Hearing the three words yin, fire, thunder, Chen Qingyun quickly searched for the origin of this weapon and really had some impression. Yin, fire, thunder is similar to Tianlazi. It is a one-time magic weapon that can be used instantly and does not limit the strength of the caster. However, yin, fire, thunder is more terrifying and vicious. A trace of yin fire power is sealed in it. As long as it touches a little spark, it will be entangled by yin fire and quickly ignite. Purple Mansion cultivators who are infected with yin fire will become in agony and die in just a dozen breaths. In order to enhance the power of this magic weapon, the inventor even mixed it with thunder attribute power. A yin fire thunder will blow up the opponent's defense, and then the yin fire will explode and sweep the opponent. There is only one yin fire like this under Chonglu. They occupied a yin fire eye at the northernmost end of the Xinghai, which was used to refine yin fire thunder. The good or bad of the magic weapon in the world depends on how the caster uses it. Chonglu used yin fire thunder to kill the evil Sex and Xinghai monsters, and made many extraordinary achievements. So in the eyes of Xinghai monks, yin fire thunder is not necessarily a magic weapon of the magic way, but a sinister thing. What Zhu Ziheng couldn't stand was that Shui Ningzu used such a treasure in a wooden box and set it up as a means of trapping people and sneak attacks. His behavior was too despicable. After verifying what he thought in his heart, there was indeed no golden source fruit in the wooden box. Chen Qingyun's face turned cold and he took the lead in launching an attack. The chain blade puppet moved again, and the chain blade wrapped around Shui Ningzu suddenly tightened, like a saw, and began to entangle and cut. Shui Ningzu would never have thought that her carefully planned means of destroying the enemy would not work at this moment. Instead, she would be defeated by the yin fire thunder she had set up. As a result, she was not only severely damaged by the yin fire thunder and her defense was removed, but also had no defensive effect at all under the powerful cutting force of the chain blade. As the chain blade puppet increased its offensive, two more chain blades entangled her, and Shui Ningzu was torn into several pieces along with the yin fire on her body, and she died. After killing this Chonglu female cultivator, Chen Qingyun's eyes turned cold, and then fell on Zhu Ziheng, and directly launched an offensive, urging the Aurora Blade to kill this Wuan Island Purple Mansion. Chapter 522, Battle with Zhu Ziheng. As the representative of Wuan Island, the elite among the elites, Zhu Ziheng, who was confident of his good background, had already made up his mind when he saw Chen Qingyun being involved in this battle. This time, no matter what, Chen Qingyun must be killed here, and no one must be left alive, so that the news of the golden source fruit would not be leaked to the outside world. Once the news of this kind of heaven and earth spiritual fruit is leaked, there is no doubt that people as strong as Qian Daoran, Jizhen, and Han Wu. Even Nangang Yuang, who is even better, will definitely have the idea of fighting for it. By then, he will become a hot commodity, and will encounter endless pursuit during this 3-year training. This result is what Zhu Ziheng least wants to see. After witnessing Shui Ningzu being ruthlessly killed, Zhu Ziheng's face showed a solemn look. Almost at the same time as Chen Qingyun was dispatched, he secretly urged the flying disc and suddenly attacked at this time, hitting Chen Qingyun fiercely. The two magic weapons clashed in the air. After contact, with a clang,
The flying disc was knocked out because it was of the upper grade and not as good as the Aurora blade. There was only a clang, and the flying disc was hit with a buzzing sound, cutting into the rock ground 3 or 4 inches away. Top grade magic weapon. Realizing that the magic weapon was not as good as Chen Qingyun, Zhu Ziheng's expression changed, but he did not have the slightest intention of retreating, but felt a strong excitement in his heart. That's right, it was excitement. After fighting with Chen Qingyun several times and seeing his strength, Zhu Ziheng was certain that Chen Qingyun must have some great secrets. Whether it was killing the Huo family's purple mansion, killing Shui Ningzu like killing a chicken, or revealing the purple mansion puppet magic weapon, all confirmed this point. Such a rare treasure-giving boy, since there is no way to avoid a life-and-death battle, it is also a good choice to act early. Being able to kill the opponent in advance and strengthen one's own foundation so as to gain an advantage in subsequent training, such attraction is huge. This thought flashed through his mind quickly. Zhu Ziheng's eyes showed a strong murderous intent, looking at Chen Qingyun as if he was looking at a prey within reach. Boy, let's end the grudge of exterminating the Huo family today. Accompanied by a low shout, more than 30 green blade magic weapons appeared on Zhu Ziheng's body, wrapped in layers of cold light, surrounding him. Before Chen Qingyun could see the appearance of this magic weapon, Zhu Ziheng suddenly raised his hand and pointed, and the magic weapon was shot out, which quickly turned into hundreds of blades, covering the sky with cold light. This is Zhu Ziheng's quasi-natal magic weapon, named Wind-Splitting Blade, which is a rare wind-attributed magic weapon with the cutting power to tear the world apart, and it is extremely sharp. At the peak of his career, Zhu Ziheng once killed 3 third-level top-grade monsters with Wind-Splitting Blade at the same time, showing his powerful strength and making a name for himself. In order to avoid being killed in the counterattack, Zhu Ziheng decided to go all out to deal with Chen Qingyun. He revealed his trump card and launched his strongest move. Wind-splitting blades flew through the air, covering the whole area within a radius of 1 kilometer. Restricted by the Immortal Palace formation, all the Purple Palace cultivators involved could not use their ability to teleport 100 meters here, and their movement speed was greatly suppressed. It turned out to be a wind-attribute cultivator. Chen Qingyun did not dare to neglect the wind-attribute cultivator of the Purple Palace stage for the first time. Knowing that he could not avoid it, he immediately let the chain blade puppet escape underground to avoid it, and he himself sacrificed the golden magnetic shield to protect himself. The golden magnetic shield has the effect of attacking the 5 elements magic weapon, but this wind-splitting blade is not within the scope of the 5 elements magic weapon due to its special nature, so it is naturally immune to the interference of the golden magnetic shield. A large area of golden magnetic shield light rose up, like a huge golden wall erected in front of Chen Qingyun, making the surrounding area bright with golden light. Thousands of wind-splitting blades whistled out, turning into streams of green light, fiercely piercing through the void and piercing in the direction of Chen Qingyun. From Chen Qingyun's perspective, it was like arrows flying from the sky, making a whirring sound and making a frightening sound of breaking through the air. Among them, any wind-splitting blade had amazing penetration power and had the terrifying power to kill Purple Mansion monks. With such a powerful force, before it was 4 or 5 meters in front of him, he felt a strong tearing feeling rolling in. It was like a lot of surging river water accumulated, rushing out at the moment of breaking the dam, erupting with a huge power that could move mountains and overturn seas. Facing such a top-notch magic weapon attack, Chen Qingyun couldn't help but narrow his eyes, and his vigilance in his heart became stronger. He would not underestimate Zhu Ziheng at all. Rumble. Thousands of wind-splitting blades collided head-on with the golden magnetic shield light, erupting with a huge roar, and the entire golden magnetic shield light shook violently. Visible to the naked eye, the wind-splitting blade was extremely sharp. Under such a high-speed impact, it actually pierced the golden magnetic shield with tiny cracks. Not good. As the saying goes, a 1,000-mile dam is destroyed by an ant-hole. The abnormality of the golden magnetic shield made Chen Qingyun feel bad. Unexpectedly, Zhu Ziheng's previous move was not powerful enough, and it looked easy to deal with. Unexpectedly, this time, In a head-on confrontation with magic weapons, his side was actually at a disadvantage. This golden magnetic shield is a top-grade magic weapon. With such a strong power, if he had used a top-grade magic weapon to resist it just now, it would probably have been torn into pieces with the magic weapon, and he would have died on the spot. As the top purple mansion cultivator of Wuan Island, once they fought, they could really see the truth. The other party really did not get the reputation for nothing. At the critical moment, it was not the time to think too much. Realizing that the battle situation was not good, how could Chen Qingyun sit and wait for death? He tried his best to maintain the golden magnetic shield and continue to defend. At the same time, his mind moved, and a green light flew out from the storage ring. The best magic weapon, Qingsu umbrella. This treasure was refined by imitating the Zhuxiantu umbrella, and it is a top magic weapon that combines offense and defense. In order to make it more powerful than the Zhuxiantu umbrella, Chen Qingyun modified it and added Xuanwu Holy Gold and Tangang Rock to it to strengthen the defense strength. Rapidly injecting mana, the Qingsu umbrella opened, and the unfolded umbrella surface protected Chen Qingyun firmly. Almost at the same time, with a click, the golden magnetic shield light was violently destroyed, and suddenly it exploded like a glass, breaking into hundreds of large and small pieces. The golden magnetic shield light was violently blown up, the light dimmed, and it disintegrated. The power of the large wind-breaking blade still remained, and continued to carry the cold light that pierced the void, killing Chen Qingyun like rain. This time, these wind-splitting blades were unstoppable and hit the golden magnetic shield fiercely, instantly turning this top-grade magic weapon into a sieve, with holes punched through it. The magic weapon was damaged, and the array pattern was torn apart. The golden magnetic shield was destroyed. The powerful attack power displayed by the wind-splitting blades instantly blew up one of Chen Qingyun's top-grade magic weapons. Chapter 523, Magical Weapon Restraint. The golden magnetic shield was destroyed, but Chen Qingyun didn't care about the pain. He stood there like a mountain, and deployed the second layer of defense with the Qingsu umbrella. In just a blink of an eye, a large number of wind-breaking blades cut through the void and hit the Qingsu umbrella fiercely. A series of violent and loud metal interweaving sounds rang out. Under such a huge impact, the Qingsu umbrella firmly resisted it with its amazing defense power, and it was not damaged like the golden magnetic shield. But Chen Qingyun only felt that the magic weapon in his hand became extremely heavy, and was beaten back by the huge penetrating force. With such a large impact, if the Qingsu umbrella was not strong and did not have enough defense, it would probably end up like the golden magnetic shield. With this Qingsu umbrella, he participated in the battle for the first time and resolved the crisis for Chen Qingyun. The wind-breaking blades in the sky could not do anything to Chen Qingyun at all. They lasted for 5 or 6 breaths before their power dissipated, and the number decreased sharply until they dissipated. With a few swish sounds, the bodies of the 36 wind-splitting blades flew backwards from the air and returned to Zhu Ziheng's side. You are so young, but you have so many top-grade magic weapons on you. I wonder how long you can hold on, and how many magic weapons can withstand my attack. Zhu Ziheng spoke coldly, with a cold light in his eyes. Every time he activated the wind-splitting blade, it consumed a lot of his mana, almost exhausting 1/5 of his mana. Knowing that he needed to fight quickly, Zhu Ziheng bought time for himself when he spoke. He secretly mobilized the mana in his body, coordinated with the operation of the technique, and continuously injected it into the wind-splitting blade, preparing to use the wind-splitting blade again to launch a second offensive. Unlike before, when he could secretly prepare the wind-splitting blade in advance, this time he needed to store energy for about 10 breaths to continue to use it. Such a powerful magic weapon naturally has shortcomings. I don't need you to worry about whether I have many magic weapons. Chen Qingyun responded coldly, and saw Zhu Ziheng's current state at a glance. Unlike those top-grade and top-grade magic weapons, the wind-splitting blade, a quasi-life magic weapon, can be used at any time. Each time this weapon is used, it needs a certain amount of time to store energy and cool down before it can exert its strongest power again. Otherwise, with Zhu Ziheng's means,
Only a fool would withdraw the wind-splitting blade at this time. Looking at the wind-splitting blade and Zhu Ziheng again, there are translucent mana connecting, which is obviously energizing the magic weapon, and it is ready to attack again. If you want to take the initiative, now is undoubtedly the best opportunity, and you must take action. While controlling the Qingsu umbrella to hang in the air and maintain a defensive state, a purple light flashed in Chen Qingyun's hand. The Jiang sword appeared, turned into a purple sword light, one step faster, and slashed Zhu Ziheng directly, interfering with the opponent's brewing offensive first. As a cultivator of Wuan Island, Zhu Ziheng's skills and equipment are very sophisticated. Naturally, it is impossible for Zhu Ziheng to have only the flying disc and the wind-splitting blade. The progress of the energy storage of the wind-splitting blade has only reached 30%, and it will take about 7 breaths to activate. Zhu Ziheng did not care about exposing his trump card, and reacted quickly, offering a black flag. With a whirring sound, the magic power surged and swept towards the Jiang sword. What was beyond Chen Qingyun's expectation was that the power exerted by the black flag was a gust of wind. When this black wind touched the Jiang sword, it actually swept the flying sword away. Judging from the fluctuations of the breath of the black flag, it has reached the level of a top-level magic weapon, with the power to sweep away magic weapons of the same level. This thing is called the Black Wind Banner, which was refined by Zhu Ziheng imitating a quasi-life magic weapon of Nangong Yuang, reaching the level of a top-grade magic weapon. The flagpole of this magic weapon is refined with a small amount of Yuanzi Xinshai, which can control the attack of the 5 elements magic weapon, and is very similar to the golden magnetic shield. At the same time, the flag also has a wind-attributed forbidden spell, which can cast a violent black wind and sweep away the attacks of magic weapons. It has a strong restraining effect on yellow sand, flames, and real water in particular. When they first fought, Chen Qingyun frowned and saw the power of this magic weapon. He cancelled the attack of Jiang sword and used Thunder Dragon Shears to fight back. Thunder Dragon Shears is a niche magic weapon and the nemesis of flag-type magic weapons. After being sacrificed, it showed its own power and hit the Black Wind flag directly. Zhu Ziheng had a preliminary contact with Thunder Dragon Shears. Although he didn't know the specific function of this magic weapon, he could still guess something with his combat experience. When he was secretly alert, he could only try his best to maintain the mana input of the wind-splitting blade. When the energy storage was carried out to 50%, he could only continue to wave the Black Wind banner and sweep out a black wind. Thunder Dragon Shears was swept by the black wind and looked shaky. The speed of advancement was greatly reduced. Zhu Ziheng avoided this attack in one fell swoop. The attack was ineffective, so Chen Qingyun changed his attack method and controlled the chain blade puppet to attack Zhu Ziheng from one side. Having witnessed the power of the chain blade puppet before, Zhu Ziheng did not dare to be careless. He used his body skills to dodge and unfolded a 3rd-level top-grade fire talisman, which exploded at the chain blade puppet with a bang. The chain blade puppet itself was a 5-elements puppet. Facing such a talisman bombardment, it used the earth escape technique to escape underground and avoided the bombardment in time. The Black Wind banner attacked again, locking Chen Qingyun as the target. The sharp black wind whistled and swept, enough to tear the body of the Purple Mansion cultivator apart. Chen Qingyun unfolded his Taoist robe and instantly unfolded his teleportation ability, teleporting 10 meters to one side, avoiding the attack of the black wind with great ease. At the same time, Chen Qingyun sacrificed the 2nd 5-elements puppet. The Heaven Sword puppet appeared and started a close combat, swinging the Heaven Sword in its hand to chop Zhu Ziheng, with a powerful force like the creation of the world. Facing 2 puppets at the same time, Zhu Ziheng's face flashed with deep surprise. He didn't expect that Chen Qingyun would have a 2nd puppet with the peak cultivation of the Purple Mansion, and immediately used the escape technique to avoid the knife. This action made him pause in the action of charging the wind blade, and it stopped at 80% of the charging state. He could only grit his teeth and pause, and instead used other magic weapons to deal with Chen Qingyun first. Hualila. The chain blade puppet did not appear, and found the right opportunity. 3 chain blades emerged from the ground and entangled Zhu Ziheng in one fell swoop. The powerful pulling force pulled him to the ground and held him firmly. Zhu Ziheng's face did not change. Relying on the magic weapon inner armor on his body, he was not worried about being torn by the chained blade. Instead, he continued to drive the Black Wind banner to hit Chen Qingyun. Due to the existence of the Forbidden Air formation, neither of them could fly into the air, and could only rely on their body speed to gain an advantage and be one step ahead. Chen Qingyun's eyes flashed coldly, and when the other party used the Black Wind banner, the Thunder Dragon Shears found the right opportunity and cut the magic weapon with a sizzling sound. The main body was damaged, and the Black Wind banner's spiritual charm was greatly reduced. The power of the formation pattern in it was rapidly lost, and the power was less than 10% of its peak. Chapter 524 Uninvited Guest, Nangong Yuang. Damn it. Originally, he was a little proud of destroying one of Chen Qingyun's magic weapons. Now, his magic weapon was cut open by Chen Qingyun, so it was damaged. Zhu Ziheng's face was full of anger, and he couldn't help but curse. At this time, the 36 wind-breaking blades floating around him had accumulated nearly 90% of their energy. It only took 2 breaths at most to unfold the mighty power again and show the ultimate edge. Sensing the intensity of the mana fluctuation of the wind-breaking blade, Chen Qingyun snorted coldly and restrained Zhu Ziheng with 2 puppets. Immediately afterwards, Chen Qingyun's eyes flashed coldly, and his palm moved, and a scroll flew out of the storage ring and was held in his hand. The 10,000 Swords map appeared and unfolded suddenly. It didn't need to accumulate energy like the wind-breaking blade. In an instant, there was a roar, and the sound of swords soared into the sky. Millions of flying swords rushed out from the 10,000 Swords picture, like a torrent of water, covering the sky and the earth, sweeping away the evil demons in the world to prove the bright and clear world. Zhu Ziheng was caught by the chain blade and could not escape for the time being. At this moment, seeing the huge sword flow rushing in, his face finally showed a look of horror. Whether it was the magic weapon inner armor or other means. At this moment, under the domineering and endless attack of millions of flying swords, it was just a small witch meeting a big witch, and it was simply unable to resist. Even if the wind-breaking blade was activated again, what could it do? After all, it could not match the top-killing magic weapon of the 10,000 Swords picture. Thousands of wind-breaking blades, under the fierce attack of millions of flying swords, could not cause any waves at all. Zhu Ziheng had no way to avoid it. His eyes were full of fear, and he had no time to use the wind-breaking blade to resist, and was submerged by the flying sword torrent in the next second. Amid the continuous roaring and shaking, Zhu Ziheng had no time to beg for mercy. He and his magic weapon inner armor were strangled and crushed by countless flying swords and completely disappeared. The storage bag on his waist exploded, scattering colorful treasures all over the ground. The wind-splitting blade, which was suspended in the air and was about to complete the energy storage, turned into scrap metal and fell to the ground with a clang. The top purple mansion cultivator from Wuan Island who participated in this training was killed by Chen Qingyun in less than 20 rounds. At the moment Zhu Ziheng fell, several cultivators in other areas around him were attracted by the roar of the 10,000 Swords diagram and looked over. This sound. Li Ruai was walking at full speed. He noticed this unusual movement and showed a puzzled look on his face. He was not familiar with Chen Qingyun's aura. Which Taoist friend has such strength? It's really amazing. Sun Tai was closest to Chen Qingyun and approached this side quietly. He happened to sense that the aura emitted by Zhu Ziheng was disappearing, and suddenly realized something. How can Chen Qingyun be so powerful after killing the peak cultivator of Purple Mansion? Sun Tai was a little unbelievable. He subconsciously moved closer and caught a glimpse of Chen Qingyun's figure from afar. After killing Zhu Ziheng, Chen Qingyun put away the 10,000 Swords picture. He felt something in his heart and instantly noticed that Sun Tai was approaching. Suddenly, Chen Qingyun's eyes met with a cold light in his eyes. Sun Tai came to check the situation and wanted to see if the person who fell was Zhu Ziheng. As he approached the battle site, he could clearly see that there were a lot of spirit stones, magic tools, jade bottles of elixirs, and other messy items scattered on the ground. He carefully sensed the remaining breath in the air, and sure enough, it came from Zhu Ziheng. Every purple mansion cultivator has his own unique breath, which is unmistakable and easy to identify. Wherever he looked, the ground was full of scorched earth and sword marks, as if countless flying swords had vented their all here, and the sharp sword power had not yet dissipated. The red and blue light objects scattered on the ground were shining top-grade spirit stones. Seeing this, Sun Tai's heart was moved, and his eyes lit up. He was very interested in these treasures. But when he met Chen Qingyun's eyes again, Sun Tai's originally calm face showed a look of surprise, and a strong desire to retreat emerged in his heart. However, before he could make all the moves and retreat in time, a figure followed closely not far away and appeared in the sight of the two. Wearing a red robe like a flame, he walked steadily and unobtrusively, step by step, seemingly strolling in his own back garden, but he exuded a fierce aura that no one could compete with. At first glance, the impression given was not that of a person, but a ball of blazing flames that could burn the sky and boil the sea at any time. Violent, blazing, ostentatious, and insolent. Nangang, Yuang. Seeing the appearance of the top purple mansion of the Xingzong, Chen Qingyun's eyes condensed, and his sight turned, firmly locked on Nangang Yuang. At the same time, Sun Tai's eyes were like blazing fire, staring at Nangang Yuang, and his heart had begun to fluctuate, forcibly suppressing it. Cheng Yejin appeared halfway. This is not an easy master to deal with. Chen Qingyun narrowed his eyes and glanced at Sun Tai. He saw that Sun Tai's face was normal, and he obviously hid his inner emotions and did not show them at this time. But this is still an active volcano with destructive power that can erupt at any time. The war can be said to be imminent. Nangang Yuang's expression showed no emotion, but he was dignified. His seemingly careless actions gave people a strong and sharp aura that made people dare not ignore or insult him. Just like when Sun Tai first came, he quickly scanned the ground. When he sensed that the remaining breath of Zhu Ziheng was around, his brows slightly frowned, as if he was thinking about something. Then, he looked straight at Chen Qingyun, and finally spoke, breaking the calm. Did you kill Zhu Ziheng? At this time, when Nangang Yuang looked at him, Chen Qingyun felt like he was being looked down upon by a prehistoric beast. Even though they were looking at each other at eye level, it gave people a sense of distance from a high position. Chen Qingyun did not show any weakness, and his eyes stared directly at Nangang Yuang, without giving in at all, and just responded coldly with one word. Yes. If someone does not offend me, I will not offend others. If someone offends me, I will kill him. Even if it is the top purple mansion of Wuan Island, what can it do? Just kill it without hesitation. As long as you participate in this fairy mansion training, you can't be soft-hearted when dealing with the enemy. After the clone's strength reached the giant stage, Chen Qingyun's state of mind has changed a lot, becoming more powerful and calm, and likes to control everything in his own hands. Let alone Nangang Yuang. Even if a giant and cultivator stood in front of him, Chen Qingyun would not have any intention of retreating. Everyone's power was suppressed by the might of the Immortal Palace, and no one could exert power beyond the Purple Palace. With many top magic weapons and 5-element puppets, Chen Qingyun was able to move freely in the Immortal Palace. As long as he saw someone he didn't like or who came to provoke him, he would just kill him. Chapter 525 Invisible Confrontation. Sun Tai takes sides. There is nothing to hide about killing Zhu Ziheng, just admit it openly. Facing Chen Qingyun's response, Nangang Yuang rarely raised his eyebrows, obviously dissatisfied with Chen Qingyun's attitude, which was completely different from the flattering attitude of others in the past. He did not intend to speak again, but directly spread his aura, forming a majesty, and suddenly pressed towards Chen Qingyun. At this moment, it was like a mountain pressing down on his head. Test, provocation? Chen Qingyun sneered in his heart, not afraid at all. When he felt the power of Mount Tai pressing down on him, he also showed all his aura and faced it directly. Chen Qingyun's aura also reached the peak of the Purple Mansion period, and was mixed with a powerful momentum of no taboos and domineering in the sky. Mount Tai collapsed in front of him and he did not change his face,
and a tiger approached behind him and he was not frightened. Chen Qingyun faced it head-on, not retreating a bit. At the same time, the two auras collided like meteorites, and at the moment of contact, they burst out with a mighty force that soared into the sky. A large amount of invisible air waves swept like a raging sea, impacting all directions. Sun Tai stood on one side. After sensing the two amazingly powerful auras, his face changed, but he did not retreat, and his eyes still fell straight on Nangong Yuang. Compared with the fear of Chen Qingyun and the indifference between fellow disciples, when dealing with Nangong Yuang, Sun Tai had only endless hatred and an irreconcilable hatred of extermination in his heart. Originally, he wanted to teach the younger generation a lesson with his peak momentum, suppress Chen Qingyun's morale, and realize the gap between people. But at this moment, feeling that Chen Qingyun's aura was not weaker than his own, Nangong Yuang's calm face finally revealed a hint of strange color. The two auras confronted and competed invisibly. Just when Nangong Yuang was preparing to confront him again and test Chen Qingyun's strength, soon, he noticed that another dangerous breath was spreading. This breath was very close, less than 100 meters away. And it turned out to be that Sun Tai. Nangong Yuang's pupils shrank, although he didn't understand why Sun Tai, a small deacon of Lingbao Mountain, would show hostility to him at this time. But Nangong Yuang was still very conceited. He didn't look at Sun Tai straight in the eye. He didn't regard him as an opponent of the same level at all, but as an inferior cultivator. He wants to take action at this time? Chen Qingyun was sensitive and had been secretly paying attention to Sun Tai's every move. He didn't underestimate this fellow cultivator. Seeing Sun Tai's reaction, he muttered secretly. At present, the confrontation with Nangong Yuang can only be said to be bloodless. It is a test of each other. It has not yet progressed to the point of offering magic weapons and fighting each other crazily. As long as Nangong Yuang didn't push his luck, Chen Qingyun didn't want to waste time here, letting other cultivators take the lead and approach the core area of the Immortal Mansion to get opportunities. There might be a battle with Nangong Yuang, but it wouldn't be here. So, this is the same action of responding with breath pressure. However, with Sun Tai's participation, the situation became very different. The two Purple Mansion cultivators showed hostility at the same time, which forced Nangong Yuang to restrain his arrogance and be careful to deal with it. Nangong Yuang was able to inherit the glorious title of the first Purple Mansion in Xinghai from the hands of the Qiming Patriarch. Naturally, he was not a vase, and he would not be a person with nothing but appearance. Whether it is character, talent, or ability, it is far beyond ordinary people. Sun Tai is definitely not stupid, and it is impossible for him to stand in line blindly and release hostility to him. Three auras were revealed in this area at the same time, causing the surroundings to be even more silent. The cultivators farther away noticed these three auras. One of them actually came from Nangong Yuang. Their expressions changed, realizing that a great war might break out, full of gunpowder. Thinking of this, they immediately avoided it and chose to take a detour. Chen Qingyun didn't care what the other cultivators around him were doing now. He was like, if you want to fight, then fight. I, Chen Qingyun, will accompany you to the end. He didn't give Nangong Yuang any flattery at all. Why did Sun Tai react like this? He showed great hostility towards Nangong Yuang and didn't turn around and leave. Chen Qingyun naturally knew the reason for this, so he simply didn't say it clearly, and was happy to see it happen. Once this war breaks out, it's not hard to guess what Sun Tai's position will be. He will definitely be the first to kill Nangong Yuang, no matter how ruthless he is, without any mercy. Such a good opportunity to severely injure or even kill the enemy who destroyed his clan. How could Sun Tai miss it? Realizing that the situation was not favorable to him and that there were more important things waiting for him, Nangong Yuang continued to confront Chen Qingyun and Sun Tai with his aura for a while. Then he finally took the initiative to restrain himself and took the lead in retreating. Chen Qingyun, Sun Tai. Okay. He spoke coldly, muttering the names of Chen Qingyun and Sun Tai, and Nangong Yuang completely removed the aura suppression. He flicked his sleeves and flew away from this area,
heading towards the center of the Immortal Mansion. Seeing that Nangong Yuang actually chose to retreat and avoid a deep confrontation, Sun Tai was even more afraid of Chen Qingyun in his heart. He stared at Nangong Yuang's figure in the distance and struggled rapidly at this moment. Chase or not? Soon, in less than 2 breaths. Noticing that Chen Qingyun had no intention of chasing him and killing him, Sun Tai made up his mind and could only grit his teeth secretly and did not choose to take risks alone. When he turned his head again, he saw Chen Qingyun's gaze, and there was a hint of meaningful charm in it, which made his heart tighten. Chen Qingyun said nothing, his aura still showing, and he looked at Sun Tai. Sun Tai was also a dog-gourd. He made a decisive decision and turned around like a frightened bird. He did not dare to stay for a moment and quickly disappeared from sight. Seeing how Sun Tai immediately retreated when he saw something was wrong, Chen Qingyun slowly restrained his murderous intent and felt a bit of admiration in his heart. He knows how to advance and retreat, and knows how to choose. He is also a person. Sun Tai was able to practice hard all the way from the foundation building stage to the current Xifu stage. Being able to participate in this experience itself already shows that he has had an adventure. His decisive and calm behavior now further proves that getting to this point is not just about chance and luck, but character is also an extremely important part. Seeing Sun Tai quickly retreating, Chen Qingyun had no intention of pursuing him. He didn't want to waste more time here and expose too many of his trump cards. He has already formed a conflict with Nangong Yuang, and there will be a battle in this immortal mansion soon. Since there is another master like this who is more difficult to deal with, and keeping Sun Tai around may be of some use, then just pretend that Sun Tai has never appeared here. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.